So what is prison like for a cop?
I'll put it this way. As a cop, you're the #1 target in the prison. Because every day was tough. I had to step to a few people. And then you got your lecturers that want to f*** you. I got no hair on my ass, but that's to my advantage, not yours. Once you're inside, you start fighting for your freedom. Meanwhile, people are busy with their lives. You're dead. And when you call, you interrupt their lives. You feel lonely. I end up telling them I'm going to hang myself. The biggest deprivation in prison is female contact. That's horrific. That's really the punishment. To be honest with you, I'd stay in prison my whole life if I can get laid now and then by a woman.
Do you ever miss the structure of prison?
I've never been asked that question. Do I miss prison?
Mike Dowd. What's up, brother?
Nice to meet you.
Of course, man. Thank you so much for making the drive and doing this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
You have a fascinating story. Good cop turned bad cop. Operated a drug ring out of the precinct in Brooklyn. Went to prison for over a decade. Fascinating life. Truly.
Some would say fascinating or debauchery, whatever, however you want to place
however
this.
you want to cut it. I mean, multiple lives. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different lives that you've lived. So what I'm kind of interested in is just sort of starting at the beginning, growing up. Your dad's a firefighter.
Dad was fireman.
We both are one of 7 kids.
There you go.
Yeah, my parents had 7 kids. Same with your parents.
Same. Yeah.
But I'm 6 of 7.
I'm number 3 of
but
7.
3 is good. I feel like 3, you get some attention.
Yes. Not enough. I'm still looking for some.
Yeah, but it goes down.
Yes.
My thing with like parents, like you can parent 3 kids.
Yeah.
But after 3, you're no longer
and
a parent.
Were they Irish twins like my family? Every 9 months, 10 months?
No.
You know?
My family did the old-fashioned way. Yeah,
rhythm?
Yeah.
No, like we had six brothers born in 6 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
No, my parents waited a little. They did like 2.5 years between each kid.
Okay, they gave you a little time. So you could. Yeah, we were all like in diapers together, like half of us.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's crazy.
Why? They were just Catholic people?
Yeah, they just, plus, Dad couldn't wait 9 months,
Yeah, these firemen, they just want to get in the house.
They want to get home.
Yeah.
They want to get something going on.
Kick the door in, you know what I mean?
John, you're supposed to wait 6 weeks. How about 6 days? Is that enough? I mean, come on, you heal up quick.
I mean, crazy.
Yeah.
And you grew up in Brooklyn, Long Island area.
I was born in Brooklyn.
And Brentwood is where you went, right?
So I was born in Brooklyn on Flatlands and 36th-ish, because there's a couple images in my mind. I always say it could be 38th or 36th Street, that area of Brooklyn, it's called Marine Park or St. Thomas. Mm-hmm. Back then, they went even by the parish.
Right.
Neighborhoods broken up by parishes back
cute.
then.
I love it.
Yeah, it's cute. It's like it's identifying, right? Mm-hmm. So when you meet people later on in life, you almost can tell within a minute or two what specific neighborhood in Brooklyn that they're from. At my age now, today I'd have no clue because every dialect moves along and changes.
I feel like now it goes by high school kind of. Like my friends that grew up in New York, they'll be like, "What high school? PS what?"
Okay,
and then they'll be like, "Oh, okay."
Or Madison. I was in Madison.
Yeah, and that's what unites people.
Yeah, yes, it does.
Yeah.
So then we moved out to Brentwood. My dad. So my dad worked in a shipyard first. He was. So a boat would come in, a ship would come in, and they would build the dock around. They'd adjust the dock around a ship. So he would be considered a dock builder, even though you don't build the entire dock. You just build a place for the boat to be housed, sort of.
Interesting. It has to be modified for each ship.
So correct. There you go. Thanks for helping me out there. Yeah, so they had to modify the dock each time the ship. So my dad did that for a couple of years, made very good money.
Really?
And then took the job as a firefighter, and his salary went in half. Yeah.
And why did he switch?
Several reasons. The fire department has a nice hours. They do 24-hour shifts. So he knew he'd have more free time to work a second job. Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah, at his age, when he was 20, I want to say he was 23 or 4 when he went into the fire department, he already had 4 kids. He needed time to work 2 jobs, one with a pension and security and a retirement. Mm-hmm. And then he worked he worked 3 or 4 jobs his entire life as a fireman. He worked 3 or 4 jobs outside of them.
Interesting.
Yeah, different locations and stuff like that.
And he, growing up, what was his temperament like with you?
He loved me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, I would see, so, you said the 3rd child that I was, you thought like that was a good thing? Well, so it was a good thing for me and my dad, but not for me and my mother. I always, still today we're like this. But it's more out of love today because of conflicts in life, let's just say. I mean, don't forget, you're the charmed child. You're looking at the charmed kid in the family, okay?
Yeah.
I was the charmed one. I was going to be all that,
Gosh,
you know?
I hate you.
Yeah, well, I was going to be all that. My dad was like so proud and loved me and was like, oh, look at my son. He's this. Because I was the first one that was born of weight. My first two brothers were preemies.
Oh, wow.
So they needed a little extra special attention, right?
Oh,
so I come along, I'm 6 pounds and 4 ounces. They're like, wow, he's a real baby, you know?
Yeah.
So I was left to the wolves by the time they got to me. Like, my mother was easy hack with the kids, you know, because the first kid, they got to be careful. You don't stick a pin in them and all that,
of course.
all this stuff. And then when I rolled out, I was like, old hat, right?
Yeah.
So I remember, so you hit a nerve with me when you mentioned that. I remember now, this is going back when I'm 1.5 to 2 years old. Now, I don't know if you can technically have a memory of that, but I remember laying on the bathroom floor, I can picture it now, with my grandmother and my mother standing over me, and my mother going, he'll just pass out when he finishes crying. You know, and my grandmother's like, he's on the floor, he's turning blue, red, whatever. And the doctor says he'll just pass out, don't we? I guess I was screaming for attention.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, everybody, I'm screaming for attention at fucking 2. So.
Yeah, but that's also kind of the time, I feel like, right? Like, you were born late 1800s, right?
You know what? You did have to scream for anything back in the 1800s because they didn't have any electronic communications, no phones. Lights are just starting to...
That's what I'm saying.
They still burnt these candles on the street, motherfucker.
Yeah, this makes you feel comfortable. Like, I grew up in a place
Can I say
like this.
motherfucker?
Oh, of course, you're required to. You have to do 3 in this podcast.
Yeah, okay. I got 2 just now.
But this is like 60s, 70s. Like, that's par for the course.
Yes,
like,
yes,
you know,
it was.
Especially, both your parents are Irish?
My dad's full Irish. My mother's like probably 50% Irish and a wandering Jew. She's got everything from, we got the wandering Jew. She's got Romanian. She's got all kinds of stuff in her.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. She's like a Heinz 57. So that's the Jewish side of the family. So I get to say, you know, I'm one of the chosen ones. I'm a chosen one.
How interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess that makes sense, though, for the time that you're growing up. Like, your dad is
Oh, wait. Let's just make it clear. My father was not allowed to be with my mother.
Oh, wait, what do you mean?
Because she was Jewish.
Oh, that was actually a thing. Like
Yeah.
For your parents.
For her parent, for my father's parents.
It was a whole like
wow.
It's
like breaking code.
And so how did they push through that?
I mean, I don't want to talk badly about my mother. She was good. I guess. Now, I would imagine that their son, my father, was persuasive enough in his admiration and respect and love for my mother. And plus, I think she got knocked up a little early. But maybe. I'm not sure. I apologize, Ma.
Oh, interesting. How interesting.
You know, 7.5 months, maybe. He really wasn't too premature, but we're not sure.
Oh, maybe he
Dates,
wasn't.
times, numbers. Back then, they came early.
Yeah.
The baby came early.
He was conceived on the wedding day.
Yeah.
No matter when
No matter
that was.
what day.
He was born.
He was born exactly.
Yeah.
He was conceived exactly when he was supposed to be for it to fit under the timeline.
Yeah. 7 months premature.
Yeah, absolutely.
The most preemie baby of all time.
Preemie.
What a miracle.
Yes.
Praise Hashem, right?
Amen.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Okay, so interesting. So I guess growing up, it is a typical Brooklyn upbringing.
Yes.
Fairly blue collar, middle class.
Yeah, middle low. You know, Dad was a hustler. He had to work. So when you say low class, you mean low income, you know, but making it.
Yeah. And
Always made it. Believe me, it's crazy, right? Because today, I don't know how they did it.
Yeah, right.
Oh, shit.
And growing up mostly around like Italians, Puerto Ricans in the neighborhood?
I would say the neighborhood specifically that we were in was Irish-based, but it had Italian influence and Jewish.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're playing sports and stuff growing up?
I was an athletic kid.
Yeah.
And that's part of my trauma. You know, I didn't become a pro, you know, all those things.
Wow.
You know, I mean, you look at you're a professional bullshit. I mean, come here.
All right.
You're a professional comedian.
Easy, all right? Amateur comedian, okay?
Did they pay you to go?
Yeah,
and then you're a professional.
Hell yeah. Okay, interesting. That's okay. So you're coming up playing sports, like you're finding purpose
baseball,
in that.
football, hockey, basketball, soccer. I played every one of them. I was always one of the better players, but not the best.
Right. And your brothers, everyone else in the family is
We had a whole fucking team.
like you guys would all wrestle together, play together.
We showed up and we played, you know, baseball, football, you know. So you had street stuff that you play by yourselves, and then you had organized competition. Mm-hmm. So we were all in both, you know.
Right.
So, but it was fun. I had a great childhood, really, when you think about it.
You enjoyed it.
there wasn't a boring moment in life. Like today when I look at kids, they're sitting there on their computers or they're watching that thing, Baby Shark. No, I mean, we didn't sit in front of a TV. You know, we did shit. We were out there stirring something up. Like I remember.
Yeah, committing crimes,
like
robbing women.
Early on.
Yeah.
Sitting in puddles.
The good old days.
Sitting in puddles. And then your mother comes out. Don't sit in the puddle. You're going to get polio. Shit. That's the shit that you would hear. What? Polio? What's polio? Like, you got polio shots. Like, we didn't know, right?
Oh, yeah.
We didn't know about what it was, but we got the polio shots when we were kids. But it was a big thing back then.
Yeah.
And so we'd sit in the freaking puddles. You know, we get the bikes out at a certain age and we ripping through. It was Long Island raised, you know, at that point, because Brooklyn was only 3-4 years, and I was little. What do I know? I just remember a couple of really cute outfits that they'd put on us with the pictures that I've seen through the years. You know, we all had like the same look, you know, like
hilarious.
With the hat on.
Everyone got the same haircut.
Yeah, with the hat, the jackets, I don't know what you would call it. I wish I was like you guys got a clothing thing going on here or something like that.
Yeah, Kid Super.
Kid Super, right? I wish I had a clothing. So I have a clothing interests, but I wish I had a clothing vernacular. Yeah. Because what is that called with the hat and that's sort of like
I think they call it gay. I think they call it being a gay guy.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that today.
There's something good with it, actually. You dress, you look nice like you.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
You motherfucker. That's 3. I got my 3. 4, motherfucker. I mean, listen, I'm older now. If anyone's interested, you son of a bitch. You learn to bend. No, wait.
Whoa.
You learn to be flexible as you get older, right? I mean, come on. We're entrenched in our ways at times, but certainly you let it go. He's okay.
And did you have respect for your dad being a fireman? Like, was that admirable to you?
So here's the funny thing, and that's a good question. So when you grow up and your father's a fireman, just what he is. So you don't go, oh my God, my dad's a fireman, because you don't know what that means when you're a youngster. But you begin to recognize it as you get older. And then you look back at your dad. So that's how my reflection on my dad's life is. I got a beautiful picture of my father. Maybe we could cut it in. It would be really cool.
Yeah, send it to me.
Yeah, I will. So my dad, he's a funny man. He raised 7 fucking kids, you know, from a distance while he was working. Yeah. But always had an influence on all of us. He was involved in our sports teams, you know, coaching when he could. So he'd be like a part-time coach because he was a fireman. His hours were irregular and whatnot. But so I get a little emotional about it because they're good people. And by the grace of God, they're both still alive, thankfully. I mean, I'm blessed. I mean, if it wasn't for that, I probably would not be where I am today, right at this moment. I would be not in the right place. Because without that security and support from, when I came home, I guess when we were referring to that part of my life, when you come home, and if you don't have that support, you can really do a lot of disservice to yourself.
Of course.
Because you don't have it. Your confidence is down.
I see that as like the major indicator. I've talked to some people that work in like prison reform, that recidivism is oftentimes can be pinned to what is your community like once you return home from prison. And if you don't have a stable base, you go back to what's comfortable and what's familiar. What's familiar is the thing that got you in prison in the first place. Right. And so, yeah, it's great that you have a core and people that were with you regardless.
Yeah, so there's 1,800 men in my prison, and I've been in half a dozen of them. Each one is about the same. I was probably the top 2 or 3 persons to get in each prison. Not everyone, but mostly. I'd say, so the top 5% of each prison as far as getting mail and support from the outside.
Siblings.
But I had a lot of, I call it fans, is that the right word to use? Or admirers? Because, you know, my case was a big case, you know, the New York City PD stuff.
Yeah.
And it was world acknowledged and renowned and disgrace and public opprobrium is the proper word for that, you know? And
I mean, it's the reason why I'm specifically interested in speaking with you. Like the bad boy cop, the good cop turned bad cop is a fascinating story and a tale that I think sort of resonates with a lot of people, right?
So I tell you what I've found from that perspective, from what you just said. I've found that a lot of guys that I ran into throughout the years, they don't have the hate for what I did. They almost secretly admire it and say things like, I wish I did that. But they didn't want to ever suffer the consequences, so they didn't.
Yeah.
And thankfully, but that went through their minds, a lot of people. Now, I'm not trying to justify it and, my actions but it's that 51-49 sometimes. 51% good, 41%, 49% bad, and then today it's 51 bad, 49 good.
Yeah.
So you end up in that dichotomy. I use that word quite often, like the good and the bad within yourself.
Of course, you see that with like Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street, right?
The Wolf of Wall
So many
Street.
people see him and they go, "Oh wow, I wish I could just say fuck you to everyone, and
Just for a year,
just rip everyone off and do whatever I want, and just who gives a shit?"
Yeah, just run.
But then you're also like, "Okay, I can't do it.
Now what am I doing?
Now
what?
You were crazy enough to do it."
Yes. I don't know why.
Yeah,
Sometimes I say to myself, my parents were good people. They raised. Listen, everybody gets a grooming. I guess that's the right word today. Slow down. Everyone is raised or fashioned to look towards a life in front of them. Hopefully, along the way, you get some guidance, right? And the guidance was good. But you know what the funny thing is? When the pressure's put on a young person, and it doesn't have to be, and I feel bad when I say these things, it doesn't have to be the pressure that people might not look at this as pressure, but when your mom and dad expect more from you, and they make it known, and not in a negative way, by the way, in a very positive way, because they're actually building you up, saying, listen, son, you really have potential beyond your other two brothers, and your number three.
Beyond us.
Yeah, exactly. So when they build that pressure, and it's not bad, but without the support, and you begin to flounder a little bit.
I mean, look at I have friends that live in Japan, and the whole culture is built on that type of family expectation. And what happens to a lot of those people? They just drink a lot. Like, they're finding ways to disassociate. Obviously not all Japanese people, but people that I've experienced and people I've talked to. You see these salary men that are like the pressure of, support my family, support my community, support my country, support my ancestors.
Go to my church, my mosque, whatever.
Let's get drunk.
You know what I mean? Like that. Enough.
Yeah,
enough.
It's hard to deal with. So I completely understand. I think a lot of people listening will be like, "Oh yeah, I've felt that pressure."
Yeah,
especially,
I hope there's a little lesson in this, because I know you're a comedian, you talk a lot of shit, but I hope that people learn stuff in your conversations. So I bet you comedy gives lessons too, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Right?
Don't do comedy. Yeah. It's a big lesson.
Drop the mic.
Yeah. Did you like cops when you were a kid?
I think I had a healthy fear of them, but I had family members that were police officers, but I never looked at them as police officers. Once again, it's odd, right? Because my father was a fireman. My father was a fucking real hero. Yeah. I mean, they went into burning buildings and dragged people out, risking their lives. And this was back in the 60s and the late 60s, the mid-60s to the mid-70s. Yeah. Brooklyn here. Yeah. This is where he worked, but hey, how's that? My father worked right here. Roebling was one of his stops.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and Williamsburg was his sector, and if anybody in this area who knows, he was 108-216, so engine 108-216, which is attached to the 90th precinct, we're on the border. Are we in the 90th right now? I think we are. We crossed Metropolitan. Mm-hmm. We're in the 90th precinct right now. So that's where my father's firehouse was. And funny thing is, I worked on this side of Metropolitan. So we're on the north side. And actually, the way the Metropolitan turns. But anyway, we're on the Long Island side of Metropolitan Avenue opposed to the Brooklyn side of Metropolitan Avenue, and right now, and I worked on this that side, the other side. So the 90 and the 94 bordered. So my last place I worked was a border town where my father was a fireman. So whenever I spoke of places at work, my father knew it. So it was a very good connection,
And you never had like run-ins with cops when you were a kid? Like, did you get in trouble?
I got like one or two tickets, stupid shit, and to be honest, when you're a fireman's son on Long Island back in the 60s and 70s and 80s when I was moving around, you were treated really well.
You get a little placard, park where you want.
You were treated really well by the Suffolk County and Nassau County Police because I guess they looked at you like one of their own kids.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, it's this identification and connection.
I think they see it like, okay, this man's serving our community. Right. So we're going to serve his family.
Yeah, so if his family does something that's discretionary, hey, listen, you didn't use your signal. Yeah. I mean, not talking about running people over and hurting people. That's not acceptable. But the little minor things that young guys and girls get involved in when they're kids, that can be discretionary, for the most part, we would have received some kind of discretionary, hey, I'm taking you home to your parents.
Interesting. So you never had like an issue with authority when you were a kid?
No, but the one experience that I had that was negative, that with the police involved, was a buddy of mine, and I'll use his name because I don't give a fuck, Tommy Cavanaugh. I was at Solomon Grundy's one night. Okay, how's that, everybody out there? You guys got to know Solomon Grundy's was a bar in Bayshore on Main Street. And he got his ass beat by the Suffolk County Police Department. But I'm looking at my quote unquote. So he was a quarterback, Brentwood High School quarterback, top notch, very talented, but he was a drinker and a fighter. So Solomon Grundy's, he's drinking. They throw him out. Probably he's being. I don't know the whole scenario, but they threw him out of the place because he was probably abusive because he's a big tough kid, stupid, young, 19 years old, drunk and dumb, right? And he ends up getting in it with the cops, calling him out, I guess, or whatever, and they beat the balls off him, and he didn't get arrested. He went home, and that was the end of it, Well, they took him home. Who the fuck knows, I didn't see the ending of it, but I was traumatized by it, to be honest with you.
Because you saw him the next day at school?
No, I didn't see him the next. I saw he was fucking beat the shit out of him. I mean, they beat him to a bloody pulp. I mean, he's still standing almost, but they beat him good.
Yeah.
But that traumatized me in a way that really disturbed me. I actually went to my parents and spoke to them about it, and my mother or whoever it was said, "Well, I'm sure he did something wrong." Okay, Mom, but Molly, what they did to him.
Yikes.
So I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
So it left a big impression on me, which I think led to me being a little bit not in that way in my career as I move forward as a police officer.
What do you mean not in that way?
I didn't get into that heavy-handed.
You had no interest in being violent.
Protection other than not violent. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference between protecting yourself and others,
of course.
and being aggressive and assertively violent.
Right. Yeah. If you're detaining someone, you're not going to throw them on the car and prove something.
No, all I have to do is if you put your hands behind your back, we both win.
Yeah.
If you don't, I have to get. See, the one thing about police work, and we're in a very, Williamsburg, it's all, hipsterish and stuff like that, and people are like, why? What? Well, you know what? If the guy turns around, puts his hands behind his back, it's all good. But that's not police work for the most part. So it becomes, you can't ask a human being to act like a machine when it's time to wrestle somebody. It's never going to be pretty. I don't, even right or wrong, it's never going to be pretty. It's just a matter of how wrong does it look or how wrong is it? So there is it wrong, and there is it looks wrong, but it really isn't. There's an area there. So I'm just throwing it out there because I know my audience in this area, how they can be a little, how would you say, would it be discerning or about how the police use their tactics?
Yeah, of course.
Because, and that's fine because we all should be.
Yeah.
But we all should be reasonable on every side of that subject
of course.
matter.
These cops beating the shit out of your friend.
Yeah.
Everyone can look at that and be like, yeah, these cops are fucked up.
Right. That's not right.
Yeah. Like a cop and a person that committed a crime getting into a scuffle and then getting handcuffs on them.
It's going to happen.
Right.
It's not pretty.
Right. Yeah.
It's never pretty. It always looks worse than it should be or is because it's not pretty.
Yeah. You're dealing with someone, you're taking someone's freedom away after they
that
committed
moment,
a crime.
And it's not
naturally people are going to not want their freedom.
It's not a nice time.
Of course. Yeah. So I understand there's a gray area with that, and of course that's why there's a national debate about it.
Every weekend.
Yeah, of course. I get
wrong.
that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But so growing up, you don't really have terrible influences with police.
No.
You make a comment in a different conversation that you had that I thought was very interesting. That you were sort of a late bloomer.
Right.
That's the way you put it.
Right.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
I put it that way because So you're really going to get down on me on this one. So when you're a 16-year-old young kid, you're trying to become an adult, and you're like a year and a half behind your friends.
Of course.
It's a difficult thing for a guy who's athletic. Cute. Fuck you,
You're
cute. I'm done being cute.
No, you're cute.
You're
handsome. You're handsome.
Yeah, you go. Now you talk.
No, of course. You're playing sports with all your friends, and then you go home for the summer, and then you come back, and everyone's 3 inches taller.
They fucking grew. I didn't.
Yeah, and they have pubes.
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute, where's mine? They're on their way, I heard.
Yeah, no, of course.
Then you go home and tell your parents, what's going on with me? Something's wrong.
And they go, no, you're fine.
You're fine. Yeah, no, I'm not fine.
Yeah, yeah. And then your feelings are invalidated, and it becomes a very isolating experience.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. You know, I'm laughing in a way because today everything worked out like it shouldn't have. By the way.
No, but the suffering is. I've always heard the suffering is a gas. Like when you are a child or you're a young person, whatever you're dealing with, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter. But
looking back, it was stupid.
But in that moment,
that's all that
the
matters.
Suffering, it just fills the space of available space.
I had a girlfriend because I was cute. Girls liked me when I was 5th and 6th grade, but in 7th grade, I didn't jump 3 inches and grow 14 inches.
Yeah,
Armstrong.
Yeah. And so, do you feel like that creates like a little bit of a gap in you in that time where you're like, man, I'm not maybe it challenges your sense of self. It challenges who you are exactly.
Yeah, well, you're trying to figure out when am I going to be like the rest of the crowd?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or am I?
Yeah. Yeah. Is this just what it is now?
So a lot of that, when I described that time, it was difficult for me. But one of the things that people key on when they critique me, because I've been critiqued a lot now, is they go, well, he was a late bloomer. That makes him a fucking an abuser when yeah. See, in fact, I was more sensitive.
Right.
In many ways.
Empathetic.
And empathetic because I understood that not everybody has the same shot at the same time. Mm-hmm. Most people can get a shot, whatever that happens to be, but it might not be at the time that they want it or it might come unexpectedly.
Right.
Whatever that shot's in, life or relationships or jobs, things like that.
Mm-hmm. So
physical maturity.
Right. Yeah. I know. I think that's just an important point. Like a lot of the people that I've spoken with that have had, that have gone into some type of criminality or they've gone into, schemes or cons or whatever it is that they get into. In my opinion, it always seems like it stems from some type of void,
self-esteem, lacking,
insecurity, and I don't say that as a justification. No. I think all people are responsible for their behavior.
We don't justify our behavior at this age.
Right.
Back then we did. Oh, I can do it because.
But I can understand, a kid acting out because he feels a lack of confidence in himself, or someone behaving in a way because they're overcompensating, and that might be criminal, or it might be schemes, or it might be something else. So I just think that's an important note in sort of the journey of understanding.
So you went to comedy.
Yeah.
A lot of people tell me, because I have a lot of comic friends, as you probably know.
Yep.
They tell me comedy was their outlet for an insecurity or to come over something,
to
overcome something, whatever that was. The ability to get up on stage. Let me tell you something. I can speak all day long, but when they've asked me to open a show and do a 3-minute thing here and there, I'm like, you fucking kidding me? I can talk on this mic to a stranger for fucking hours, but standing up on there. Now, if I was talking about sobriety, my life, my experiences, I could bullshit in front of anybody. But the term bullshit doesn't mean I'm lying, by the way. I could just rip stories back and forth. But getting up, the fear that could overcome, well, they asked me to, Coco.
Joey Diaz.
Was it him or Audie Lang? One of them, it might have been Audie Lang. You know Audie, right?
Of course.
Do you know him personally? I don't know if you've
met him. I'm a fan.
These were all good guys, by the way, and they all got issues, right?
Yeah. Don't we all?
Don't we all? Right. So, but I think Audie Lang asked me to do like a 3-minute open. I forget. You put the guy up there for like a open talk or some shit. I forget what it was. But anyway, so the fear that hit me when he asked me was like, he said, you could make a couple $100. You put some money in your pocket and you get out there. And I was like, well, I'd rather stay broke than fucking get up there and do that. Meanwhile, talk shit to anybody anywhere.
It's weird. It's weird.
So how did that happen for you? And tell me how you got up there.
I mean, I'll be honest. I just started doing stand-up when I was in, I wanted to by the end of high school. At the end of high school.
So you were already doing something?
Yeah, I was like.
Why?
I think the deep-seated, probably psychological reason is, just grow up in a big family. Everyone in my family is super funny. We all sit down and have dinner time and everyone's ripping jokes. It's just like a podcast every single Friday. It's just jokes. And Sunday after mass, we all come together and we all just tell jokes together, nonstop.
So how do you be able to transition from that to that?
I mean, you just start doing open mics. That was really the key.
So you were going to places.
Yeah, of course. Coffee shops and just starting.
And you did that.
Yeah, and
how'd that feel?
I mean, amazing. What a rush, right? It's the ultimate creative outlet, in my opinion.
So when you walk, so I'm asking you for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Okay? Because they were asking me to do open mics.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so you just sat down and just started ripping.
I mean, I think At least in my opinion.
You walked into a place and it was okay. You're okay with it right away.
I mean, you're never okay with it.
Okay,
Like,
you had a little.
There's always a little anxiety,
Okay,
but it's exciting though. And the things that I joked about were the jokes that I would like tell my friends. Like, you know what I mean? I think all people, at least in my opinion, have like jokes that they fall back on.
Yes.
Right? Like throughout their life.
Right.
Like,
Okay.
someone asks you about your 7 siblings. For me, I had something I would say in conversation, and people would laugh. And then the next time people asked me about my siblings, I would say the same thing.
Same thing. No, because it worked.
And then people asked me about, my parents, and I'd say a joke about them. And then I'd have 2 jokes.
Right.
And then someone asked me a joke about my name, and I'd have a joke about that. And then in conversation, I just
Do you have
have
an eidetic memory?
I don't know. I think it's.
I make a joke, I forget I said it. The next minute they say, "What'd you say?" I don't remember.
No, I have one of those. What do you call it? Pornographic memory.
Oh, that
That's
too.
what yeah.
Don't call that porno. It's addictive.
Photographic. What's up, guys? We're gonna take a break really quick because you need to take your health seriously, and the best way to do that is with the good folks at Bubs Naturals. Oh yeah. Bubs Naturals is amazing. It's a great company. Sometimes you get these different companies that are very pretentious. It's like, do this. Bubs is very approachable for all types of people. It seems that way probably because it was named after Glenn Bub Doherty. Yeah, this guy was an absolute legend, truly a hero. He was a Navy SEAL who laid down his life saving Americans and fighting for his brothers. So if it's good enough for Glenn, it's good enough for me. Bubs has a bunch of different products. They got everything. Collagen peptides, take care of your hair. They got oil powders. They got coffees. But the thing I want to talk to you about today is Hydrate or Die. This little pack right here. I'm never going to talk about a product on this show that I have not tried personally. And I'm telling you, I have been using these packs for the past couple weeks. The Hydrate or Die pack is absolutely amazing. It tastes great. This is the thing. Sometimes with these different powders, they have a weird aftertaste. They make you feel a little weird. This one is amazing. You just drop it right in there, give it a little swirl. I really love this one. This one tastes absolutely amazing. And the thing I love the most about it is you're sipping it and you're like, why is this so good? This must be packed with added sugars. No added sugar. Only 6 ingredients. I mean, I'll tell you right now on the box. Organic coconut water powder, Himalayan salt, natural lemon flavor, magnesium citrate. It's as bare bones and basic as you can get to actually be taking care of your health. Absolutely a performance enhancer. I take this before I work out. I feel way more hydrated. There's nothing better. If it's good enough for a Navy SEAL, I'm telling you, it's good enough for you. I mean, I'll just go through the list here. 2,000 milligrams of electrolytes, no added sugar, 6 ingredients, vegan, plant-based, gluten-free, soy-free. If you want a very easy, approachable, natural health and wellness company, I'm telling you, Bubs are the guys for you. I'm actually drinking out of my Bob Shinobi Ninja cup right now. Having a great time. If you're interested in taking control of your health, we're going to do it with Bubs. So if you want to check it out, go to Bubs Naturals, B-U-B-S Naturals, Naturals.com. And I want you to use the code Gagnon, Gagnon, for $15 off your order. That's right. BubsNaturals.com. Take control of your health. Start taking it seriously. There's no better investment in your life than into your health. Let's get back to the show. But I don't know. I do think like I can't say all things, but I do think insecurity is a big motivator for why a lot of men and people in general do the things that they do.
Yeah, to develop something, overcome something.
And I don't think it's wrong. It's not necessarily always wrong. Like I've heard Steve Jobs talk about creating Apple came from some type of insecurity with like being adopted and not really knowing his biological dad. And yeah, it's like that. Those things that put a chip on your shoulder, and you go do something great. Right. And in the same time, sometimes that chip.
So I put a chip on my shoulder, and I went out and I did something great.
You're here now.
I changed the New York City Police Department, I guess you could say.
Exactly. There you go. So then you get into police work. You start dating this girl. You want to get married, and police work is sort of a way that you can stay together with her, and everything worked out.
So I'm an accounting student. In Suffolk County Community College. People out there will know it's actually a very good accounting school, by the way. What do you call first level accounting? Where you get your 2-year degree and you move on to Hofstra or Post or one of those and finish up and get your degree. And so I was 2.5 years into it. I had just left Suffolk and went to Post. I was doing it was 2 years full associate's degree. Started my next 2 years, and at that point, the city was calling me to. I had taken the test, and the city starts to call you to do all the background investigations. And so, sure enough, every background investigation was either on a Tuesday or a Thursday. And those were my cost, and if anybody knows cost accounting, I had my cost accounting classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I ended up getting a D in my cost accounting class that year. And that's my major. not good. Okay, everything else I was B's and A's and stuff. I was a 3.5 type student, and because I never studied too hard, or But accounting was difficult. I studied accounting 25 hours.
Why accounting? Why
25 hours a week because I was told if you do accounting, you'll get money. Somehow money will come to you. You know? And and that's why I took accounting. And I found out that it was a little bit boring. A little bit. And I had no mentor. And I said, I'm building a career here where I don't even know where to turn for help or guidance. And Mom and Dad were not going to be those people because Dad being a civil servant. And I guess in some ways he was his own entrepreneur because we did have a pool table business that my father, all of us worked. My father was so there was a company called Harrow's. They do pools and pool tables on Long Island. And then there was another company, I don't want to, I'm going to get in trouble if I not remember the name, but anyway, they were another billiard company. And so my father was like the expert on Long Island for pool tables. So he raised each one of his kids to be the second hand on jobs and stuff like that. Now, pool tables, if you know anything about it, they're 800 pounds is a pool table. The slate, the wood, the tables, the frames, the legs. So we would build these as kids. So it was always some entrepreneurial spirit, but the risk of being on your own in a business, not so much when you had the fireman and the civil service thing going through you. So it caused me to have some fear of not succeeding. So when the police called me, I was going for all these things. I justified and rationalized. Hey, I got a D in accounting. Maybe this isn't for me. So I went to my Suffolk County college and went to speak to my buddy, the teacher, his name was Weinstein. I think he's still there, or he may have just left within the last 2 or 3 years because he was still there 8-10 years ago. And I'm talking, so he probably had me by 15 years. So I'm being an old guy now. But Weinstein, fuck you.
I'm agreeing with you, bro. You
don't agree with me. Yeah. So I'm going to be an older fella now. And so I spoke to Weinstein, and he says to me, Mike, you want to sit in the fucking office all day and go through numbers and books and pay? And I looked at him and I went, no. He goes, then I recommend you take the fucking test or you would take the offer, whatever it was. And so I walked I had probably a 15-minute meeting with him. And that's all it took. And I turned around and I went, okay, I'm going to do it. And so it was actually scary and exciting, the whole bit. And I knew there was a potential to take that relationship what I was at to maybe the next level because now I have a job, a real job. Now I was a bay clammer. I earned money. I worked at a liquor store. I worked in a mail house where they do the mass mailings and mass printings. So I had some jobs. So I was an earner. But when the police job came along, you instantly become both lazy and excited. So it's like living like the dichotomy. Yeah, because you're done now. You're in this police world, channeled in, plugged in, so the laziness isn't, it's just your mind gets lazy. You're on the career path.
You're in a system.
You're in the system.
You can work super hard or not work that hard, and you're going to be in the river.
Exactly. So
that's interesting.
That's you become in that lane. Now there are other guys all along the way that always have other interests, but it just sort of lets you focus on this. And of course, the whole time my mother's going, when you going back to school to finish your degree?
Oh, wow. She wanted you to go to college.
When you going back to school to finish your degree? She still asks me today, okay?
This is a good Jewish mother. That's what it is.
It doesn't stop.
She's like, be an accountant.
Yes.
Why, come on.
Yeah, at least you're a sergeant. It was a funny story. One of the guys, he's in the elevator with me, and his name was Seth Moldavsky. Hey, Seth, I'm Moldavsky. And I'm in, I don't think it was the pink houses. I'm throwing that out there just because the pink houses in Cypress. I think it was in the Cypress houses. No, Fountain Avenue. Anyway, it's Fountain Avenue, I think it was. Anyway, I can't, because there's the Lincoln Towers. There's all kinds of high rises. And I know I'm in the elevator. It might have been Lincoln Towers because it was quite the ride up. And could have been Starrett City because a Jewish lady walks on the elevator. So that was the Jewish community over there. So Seth and me are on the elevator. And I must have been driving him that day. And she looks at, the woman gets on the elevator with us to go up to probably the 16th floor. And she looks and it says Moldavsky on his badge, which is a Jewish name, right? His name's, she goes, oh, Moldavsky. Jewish? You know how they talk to each other? Jewish? Whatever she said to him. And he goes, yeah. She goes, well, at least you're a sergeant. I like it. It was almost like an insult for a Jewish kid to become a cop, isn't it?
Fine. You know, at least.
At least you're a sergeant.
Oh, that's so funny.
So it was like, and I'm like, and I didn't really like Seth too much, to be honest with you, but it was a moment of comedy.
Oh, hilarious.
You can get out of that.
So your mom wanted you to go to school.
Oh yeah.
But you were just kind of like, okay, let me stay in this career track that's sort of safe.
Yeah, well, so more to it, it was that so in the beginning there was fear. As a young police officer, if anybody out there tells you that they're not scared, they're full of shit, all right? Because you now went from holding the door open to let somebody go in, for someone stopping, looking at you and saying, hello, officer.
Yeah.
Like now you're somebody.
You become a thing.
You become an employee, a visual object.
People hate you. People love you.
People seek you.
There's a responsibility. You walk down the street.
You're a 21-year-old person responsible for life.
Yeah. How do you prepare someone for that?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. I mean, if you ask me, I can sit down and write a script, but it's in the next movie.
I mean, yeah, it is a lot of pressure.
It's overwhelming. And if someone tells you it's not, they're lying to you.
But what was the driving force, though? Like, I don't think you were sitting at home like, I need to become a great, servant to my community.
No. So I'm not going to, we can all stroke each other and say, oh, yes. No, what it was it was a comfortable way to begin to earn a living at a young age and have a successful career path in front of you. Now, you don't know how uncomfortable it is until you get in that wheel.
You look at it, you're like, my dad's a fireman, I'll be a cop.
It's the same. Yeah, what's the big deal? It's working for the public. You get a gun. You get to help the community along the way, and then you begin to realize that and I tell this story. You may have heard me say it if you listen anywhere. I had tears in my eyes walking back to the precinct, saying I should have stayed in fucking school. I mean, I just finished 6 months of the academy or 5.5 months of the academy. I'm in the street like 2 days, and I'm not. This isn't for me.
Yeah. And what precinct do they put you at initially?
I'm in the 110 initially, which is Corona, Jackson Heights, Elmhurst, which really wasn't a bad, quote unquote, precinct, but it was the busiest one in Queens at the time, So, and back then it was run by the Colombians and the Cubans. They ran all the major drugs. There's the Italian section over by Corona Ice King, but the Colombians were big time over there, and there was a lot of cocaine being run out of there. Like that was the cocaine hub of the United States at that time.
Was it very violent at that time?
So the thing about police work and violence is we see violence that you don't see because every time we do something, it's usually there's violence taking place. So it wouldn't be considered a very violent community, but they had 35, 40 murders.
Yeah, and you're seeing all of them.
And you're seeing, if you're working, you're seeing it. So right. So my perspective of it is that there was a lot of danger in that community. While there's 3 million. Probably in that area, let's not over-exaggerate here, Dowd. There's probably 700,000 to 750,000 to 800,000 people at that time in that community. And if two get picked off a week,
it's generally safe.
Correct.
But if you're showing up as a 21-year-old kid,
and I see this every other day here and there. Like my first job, a guy jumped off the roof. That was my first real job there. I had to sit on a DOA that jumped off the roof. And I'm looking at a guy whose his head's elongated from jumping from the 5th floor, smack on the roof, and up pulls his family. And I'm guarding the body, which is what police do until the coroner comes. And because it was in a back alley, it wasn't exigent. So they didn't come picking him up in 20 minutes. It was 3 hours later. So I'm hanging out with spaghetti brains in the back of a court alley, and up comes the family. What do you do? What do you do when the family comes? No, you can't touch the body because it potentially is a crime scene. We don't know if he jumped off the roof or was thrown off the fucking roof. Maybe he owed a debt. When he got to the top of the roof, the guy threw him over. We don't know. Was he a kingpin Colombian or an executed guy? We don't know. So we had to maintain a crime scene, essentially. And then the family shows up. I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do? The wife, the daughter, they're crying, screaming. And I'm like, so I let them hug the body. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Not let them hug their fucking dead family member?
Yeah.
I mean.
And then you got to watch the whole thing. And like, you're dealing with this.
Yeah.
And so what happens when you go home that day?
Well, I can't. If I told you I remember, I'd be lying to you. But I would tell you that I never forgot it.
Yeah.
I mean, of all the jobs that I handled, which is probably in the area of 30 to 40,000 jobs, maybe more, I never forgot that one. You know, and it's like your first, right? You don't forget it.
Yeah,
of
course.
I mean, I forgot her name, but
but you go home that day and you're like, damn, that is heavy. And there's no.
Yeah, it's real. So death is real.
Yeah, there's no counselor there.
Yeah, and I'm going to see death.
There's no therapist that's like, hey, is everything okay?
Yeah. What do you think? You okay with this? Did it affect you?
You can't talk to other guys on the force.
Yeah, they have a beer.
Yeah.
It's going to get better, kid. Have a beer,
Yeah, I mean,
Wait till you see three of them with their heads missing or some shit. Then, now you're talking.
Did you enjoy any of the power that went along with it? You got a badge and a gun. All of a sudden, you get a little juice. How does that feel?
Insane.
Really? You liked it?
It was insane in the membrane. So initially, you don't know it. Because like I said, there's a lot of fear. But once you begin to become a cop, see, in the beginning, you're not a cop. You're a patrolman. You're a rookie. But when you become a cop, and especially in the 80s and 90s, bro, we were fucking gangsters.
Yeah.
Every fucking one of us had gangster in us. Because we were the law, and we made the law, we were the law, we made decisions on the spot.
Yeah.
That would change your life, make it or break it. And no one would stop us.
Yeah, that's gang
And
activity.
no one would fucking stop us.
Yeah. And you realize that over time. You didn't get into it for
No,
that
I didn't
purpose.
know it. I didn't know that. I'm thinking I'm going to go do a job, get paid, and have a career. I don't know that I'm about to turn from being this guy that went to the police academy, is going to learn how to save the country and the world and the city, to a guy that could give a fuck about anything but winning.
Wow.
And that's what it becomes.
Yeah.
And you are the number one badass in the fucking neighborhood. No matter what fucking Pappy Mason and all the other crew guys that tell you Supreme, who these guys are my friends today. All these fucking, not Pappy, but all these other guys that we're friendly relations. It's so different. We all have friendly relations today. All of us. The old crack kingpins and all the old cops and shit. They all hang out.
I guess
right
because
now.
it's a similar mentality that got a lot of people into it.
It was
like,
it was a game
get
that
some money, get
everybody
some power,
played, and it
just
was
on different sides.
It was a different side, and good luck for you. And I wish I had your spot. It was when you think about it, it was fucking disgusting, but it was.
Yeah.
People are gonna say, "Oh, you're acting as if it was great." It was life.
Yeah. Yeah. That's something that someone told me this quote, and I always think about it, but like, history was a different country. That's what people tell me. And I've heard that, and I just think it really resonates. Like, you're living in New York in this very specific time,
right,
in a very specific role, and it's hard to really rationalize all the behavior you're doing right now. But in the time, it's like, I don't think you were doing anything different than what most people in that position were.
No, I wasn't. Now, so that's, let's just clarify. Not everybody was shaking down drug dealers and getting paid off, okay?
Sure. We're not there yet.
Right. However, most guys had the same attitude in their approach to each job. So I'll give you an example. Something happened over here. So I was on Manhattan Avenue? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't, because I get confused with Manhattan Avenue. Whatever. It was right by the precinct. It was like 2 blocks from the precinct, by Nassau and Manhattan. The pizzeria, an ice cream shop. I'm drawing the vision. An ice cream shop, a pizzeria right in the same area there, a diner on the corner. And young rookie cop is being abused by some local roughneckian Polish guy. It's a big Polish community. It's still a pretty big Polish community over in that side of Greenpoint. Mm-hmm. And, but when you see some of these Polish guys, they're big motherfuckers, bro. Their arms are this thick. One arm is this thick.
Those are scary whites.
They're just
scary whites.
badass.
Yeah.
And then they eat fucking insulation, asbestos. They eat asbestos.
They're spinach.
That's what they do.
Yeah, let's go,
They came here to do the asbestos work and
Right.
shit. I mean, that's not why they came, but they were utilizing the asbestos, and they were construction guys. They were masons, all that stuff. Much like the Italians when they first came here, the Polish in this area, that was their thing. And these guys, thick. And he's making fun of this rookie cop, and now I got to be the fucking hero. Because I'm not going to let a rookie cop on a foot post get abused by a local patron, a mate, whatever you want to call him, local guy, so that it's not him you're abusing us.
It's a gang.
Right? Correct. So I take it upon myself, and my partner was with me, of course, thank God. But anyway, kept me from getting killed. But so now I take it upon myself so I check the guy. Like, yo, what's up? What's going on here? And of course, this guy didn't want to back down. So he comes at me, and we have to go into a situation now. It's me and him. And thankfully, he wasn't looking to maul me. So he didn't take a position of like this angling in positions. So I was able to get behind him and take him down, right? But I took him down, and I wrestled a little bit. Don't quote me on wrestling, okay? So I put like a half Nelson chicken wing on him. I don't know if you're familiar with wrestling. So I put him in a chicken wing, and his arms were so strong that he was bending my arm, trying to get out of the chicken wing like this. I thought I had control. That motherfucker was just waiting to break my arm, and I'm going, oh my God. I'm trying to bury the chicken wing in to get him. And he's bending, and I got skinny arms. Not at the top, but skinny. So he's bending my fucking arm. With my bone in my arm is starting to bend, and he's got me, and I'm looking around. Someone better fucking help me, man, because he's gonna snap my arm. But P.S. It ends. Take him to the precinct, and I don't want to fuck with the guy. It's just that I had to show him that you can't do this to the police, and the rest of the police are not okay with it because now you own us.
Yeah.
That's what it was back then. You had to have that line of respect, and that was part of it. Black, white, Polish, it didn't fucking matter. You had to maintain that. And if you didn't, you become what you got today.
Interesting. I see. So
little segue there.
Yeah, no, I see the point. I see the point.
It has to stop.
So
early.
Where's the turn?
I gave him a ticket, by the way, and I gave him like a C. They call it a C summons or some shit.
Right.
I didn't really don't even fucking show up. I don't care. But it was a moment, you know. And that's not the only moment like that. So I'm just giving an example.
Of course,
it's
no, that makes
local.
sense.
It was present right in this area here. And then the guy's probably out there saying, "There's that motherfucker talking on." That's the fifth motherfucker. Sixth.
Yeah. So what is the turn? Yeah. How long do you spend as a good cop, and then what is that first tear in the armor?
That's the question everyone asks me, and sometimes I try to envision a different perspective of that, because it's not the fact that the Puerto Rican mystery that you may have heard about, where the guy gave me money for us, I let him go, okay, with the license plates, no nothing on his car, no insurance, just the title.
Yeah.
But I try to think back, like that's the first moment that I got something.
Yeah.
Intentionally sought something.
And how long is that from police academy? Like how long? Was
that would be 2 years.
Oh, wow. So you spent 2 years generally being a good cop.
Generally doing what I'm supposed to do. Yeah.
And then you pull this guy over. He's obviously doing nefarious,
he
illegal
doesn't
things.
have papers. That's all. All he has is a title to the car.
Right.
And that's why I put no license plates, nothing.
But he's got some cash.
But he's got cash.
And does he offer it to you, or do you offer it to him?
No, he doesn't offer it to me, but he was very compliant. So he wasn't a bad kid, like a nasty son of a scumbag. He was I'm sorry, hey, officer, what kind of you got any license registration? No, but I got my title. Okay, great. We'll just start with that, you know?
Yeah.
And now I'm like, this is a Corvette. It's like a 76, 78 Corvette. Beautiful. It was 1983 or 4. So it's not an old piece of shit, And I'm like, I'm from Puerto Rico. I don't work. I got a $9,000 car, whatever, $10,000 car, and I'm going, what the fuck's wrong with this picture here, So he had a fanny pack on him with hundreds in it. I mean, I mean, she's got $2,000-$3,000 worth of summonses, a tow, lodging the vehicle. Can he get it out of the impound? He's probably losing his vehicle if I take it from him. So we make that little transition. Hey, listen, you buy me a lobster lunch, which I'm famous for. Bastard, what's his name? Took it from me. The guy who Marky Mark, was it Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, he was supposed to, he was broached to do this. To do the 7.5. He was,
wow.
No, sorry. Wrong statement. He approached them and said, I want to do the 7.5 and I want to be Dowd. They told him no.
I mean, he would have been great.
Are you fucking kidding me?
He'd have been great.
I'd be rich. I wouldn't be. Where are we?
Sitting in a tent.
I wouldn't be in Williamsburg in a tent with a bunch of hippie signs. Oh, Mother Mary's there. I gotta give you credit.
You got Jesus behind you.
Oh, amen.
Easy.
Lord. All right. This is the Last Supper. What's coming? Is this the Last Testament? Will of the Testament?
Mm-hmm. Lock the doors.
Lock the door. Oh, shit. That guy was pretty big. What's his Brandon? He's a big boy. He's a big boy. Yeah. He's probably training and everything. I know he can run. Those legs are long.
Oh, yeah. But so he's got this fanny pack. You basically say like, "Hey,
buy me a lobster lunch,"
and he goes, "Okay."
Okay. He puts some money underneath the briefcase.
And what goes through your mind? Like, why? What has eroded in you at that moment that you think it's worth putting my job on the line?
Yeah. See, that's.
I don't think it happens in 1 second. I think it happens over time.
Yeah, no, that's why I was getting at. That's why I said there's other times along the way where things weren't 100% kosher.
Yeah, I think it's like asking someone like, when did you become an adult?
Yeah,
You're like, well, I was 15, but I did this when I was 18.
Yeah,
and
so
I'm still working on it now.
Yeah, I'm not done.
Yeah.
So I try to. There was things that happened in Corona when I was a cop in Corona. Like there was certain things I saw. Certain things that I was told, and like one of the things, and I shared this a couple of times, but mostly Joe Rogan's podcast, which is the first podcast I ever did, by the way.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I didn't know what a podcast was, and then Joe Rogan's sending me messages on Twitter or something.
Hey,
if you're ever in California, hit me up. So I don't know anything about it. I didn't even see it. I don't even see the message. I don't know how to use social media. My son set it up. My son says, "Dad, Joe Rogan." I said, "Who the fuck is Joe Rogan?"
Wow.
I didn't know him. He goes, "The guy from Fear Factor?" I said, "Maybe."
That's so crazy.
Yeah, I go, maybe. Send me a picture of him or something, because I'm not a TV guy. I'm news and sports.
The biggest podcast in the world.
Yeah, and that was back then. It was too.
Yeah,
and that was when I did it. So anyway, I don't know. He calls me, so I go on his show and I learn about what are we?
You're talking about the erosion, but things that were happening to you in Corona.
So I told him that in Corona, when I was a rookie and I was in my training vehicle, the cops in the vehicle are telling me basically that the cop that died at this party, in a Christmas party, he fell over the railing, over the top of a railing because it was snowing out. He was the rat in the case against the other cops that they locked up.
Wow.
So I'm like probably 7 months out of the academy when I'm sitting there with now when you're 7 months out of the academy, you got a little bit of experience.
Right.
Because you've been in the street for 7 months. And anywhere in New York, you're going to see something. You're going to be around stuff. You're going to be involved, getting your hands a little dirty. And now I'm sitting in the car getting what they would call field training by a trained detective. And I'm hearing the second day in the car with these guys that, this guy went over the railing at the party. And I'm like, wait a minute. So that's what happens to rats in the PD. So it ain't no different than the fucking mob is what I'm hearing. Am I wrong? Yeah. Am I hearing?
Gang's a gang.
Yeah, and that's just what I'm getting at, I'm like, holy shit. And then they pull up to a bodega, and all of a sudden they toot the siren, and out comes a guy with a six-pack, Marlboro, gum, and chips. Thanks, guy. See ya. Pizzeria. Pull up to the pizzeria. In and out. You go get it.
Yep.
Go get the pizza.
New guy.
Go get the pizza. I go get the pizza. They go, thank you for no money. No. You know what he says to me? What do you charge you? Wow. Nothing. He goes, all right. You know, he knew he was charging me nothing.
But he wanted
to see what I would say.
Interesting.
So now he's already got me, right? Beer, cigarettes, it doesn't matter, cigarettes. Beer, cigarettes, chips, pizza. First 2 days in the car, all free.
Wow. So you're just seeing the extent that you can go with a badge.
Just start off, yeah. And this is, they're not going to show me what they can really do.
Right.
Right? They're just showing me how it works like this.
But they are telling you if you cross them.
Yeah, well, the guy that fell over the railing at the snowstorm, how do you fall over a 4-foot railing? You know, like in Queens?
Yep.
Like the guy fell off the roof, okay, he went up there to jump. But it's not that easy to just fall off a roof,
no.
you know? I mean, unless you're trying to or reaching over the side. But this was, so picture a fire escape. Have you ever been on a fire escape?
Yeah, of course. It's over your head.
Exactly.
So were you.
Yeah. At some point, I got over my head.
And so you're in this 2 years though. Before you really turn, your moral authority in the force is getting eroded.
So it's getting eroded early on.
Yeah.
So that you're pliable, I guess. Guys want you to be pliable.
You're also around corrupt guys. I think it's worth noting, like throughout this, and even when you get jammed up and sentenced and everything, you're not the only guy arrested.
Oh no.
Like,
well, there's 54 people arrested with me, but
and that was just
6 cops.
And that was just at that time.
That's it.
And the decade before, there was probably
you had the French Connection cocaine. You had the Popeye Doyle, which was the same outfit. You had so people don't know this. And for history, they had I call it I think it was SID in New York City. There was, I want to say, the numbers could be slightly off, so don't get mad. There was 106 guys in SID. I maybe even, let's just call it streetwide narcotics. So it was citywide. So 106 guys, 91 got arrested.
Wow.
And the other 15 or 14, they probably missed them.
Yeah. Those are just the guys that get arrested.
Those guys that got arrested and charged and convicted.
Yeah. So
that's a lot of fucking guys getting jammed up. And those were the ones. You're 1 block away from where Serpico got shot in the head. You know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that?
No.
You're right around the block here.
Really?
Serpico got shot in the face over here.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Do you know the story of Serpico?
I don't.
You don't know the story of Serpico?
No.
Okay. Well, it was the number one movie for.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the
term. You're familiar with the term. It's like a term.
Yeah, I know the name.
Yeah.
I know the movie, but I don't know.
Yeah. In fact, if things go well, I'm going to be sitting on a podcast with Serpico, which would be really cool.
Hell yeah, baby.
That would be really cool. I mean, I really don't like Frank Serpico because he was a good cop. But I can respect it.
Sure.
But
wait, what happened with him?
So he turned in his guys for, he was against taking money. So they shot him.
But lived.
He lived. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and then there was a commission called the Knapp Commission in 1970. I wanted to say 3. And then when I went to the Mullen Commission in 1993, so 20 years later, I was doing the same thing that Serpico was doing, except I was the anti-Serpico.
Right.
Serpico was the good guy saying, I reported this, no one did anything about it, and then I got shot in the head somehow, and I survived it. Damn it. And Dowd.
Yep.
At the Mullen Commission hearings, which I don't know if you're familiar with that. I did.
I'm
are you familiar?
Okay. That you were the sort of the
I was the
focal
point of the hearings. Yeah, even though there was a lot of shit that I didn't even know. In fact, my girl Tara that you met, she read the whole fucking Mullen Commission report in an hour because she's like a computer, and she could quote shit out of it to me right now that I didn't even realize.
Wow.
And it turned out that there was something called a tickler. Really interesting. If anyone's interested in history and finding out about how the PD buried corruption, they had something called a tickler file, which I learned about, and I'm not well versed on, but I know of it. And in that file cabinet, it's called a tickler file, it would be every sensitive thing. For example, Chief so-and-so likes getting head at the fucking local whorehouse. There's a file on that.
Really?
It was private files about all these individuals that they had information on that they didn't want to go forward with and use it against them. So pretty much like today in our government, there's a lot of information on people out there that they're hiding.
That's so interesting. That's confirmed within the
Confirmed.
PD.
It's called a tickler file. Now, if you think the NYPD, the largest police department in the world, by the way, until now, I think the FBI is bigger, but it never was.
Right.
It never was. It's half the size. Now they've... I don't want to get started. But anyway, yeah, they had a special file, and in that file, it was about it was usually, but not solely, for high-profile officers that they didn't want to disparage them, but they had information on them.
And so how exactly would it be used? So there's a sergeant that likes to go down to a brothel.
Right.
And someone finds that out.
Right.
And then they
report it.
They report it, and then it gets logged into the file.
Yes.
Unbeknownst to them.
Unbeknownst to them, because they leave it. They don't investigate it, or they do a cursory investigation and say, yeah, he gets a BJ once a week. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, we can live.
Yeah, we can. It's not that bad.
But they use it as a means to overlook what they're doing, or do they use it as blackmail if they step out?
They have it. So what they decide to do with it is up to them. Now, I would imagine, now we can play this out. If I'm the inspector in charge of those files, and Johnny over here is getting a BJ and his wife don't know about it, and I want him to do something, some bidding, whatever that would be, so I got him.
Yeah, if he doesn't do it,
then I bring charges up on him. Yeah, I'll bring charges on him. I got the file already. There's 7 complaints against you getting BJs on Tuesdays.
And you want that to be the story that the newspaper picks up? The sergeant that's cheating on his wife?
Suspended, yeah. You want that? No. So I'm not saying that that's how they did things, but I'm saying they certainly could have. And if you could, you probably would.
Right. So all the things...
it goes on today.
Right, I mean,
that's going on today.
I have no doubt. If it was going on then within the PD, I'm like, is it going on now within the government? Going on now within the Supreme Court?
It's going on.
I mean, I kind of have this theory. I'm sort of a conspiracy theorist. I'm like, I don't think people get into high positions of power without some type of collateral against that power.
Being owned.
Yeah. I just don't see why you would.
You know what? I only come to terms with this recently, and it's really how old are you?
27.
Oh my God.
Wrong
Poor
side,
you.
20.
Poor you. 27, and you realize already what's going on.
Well,
I was in the middle of it and didn't know. That's fucked up, okay? Because I think I'm running shit.
Yeah.
And they're laughing at me somewhere.
Yeah. And I don't know. I think sometimes people are like, oh, well, they're going to intentionally put them in a position to get black. I don't think you need to intentionally do anything. People are going to do fucked up shit. I do bad things all the time.
Every day we do something that we probably aren't too proud of. Don't let my mother know.
Yeah, of course. And if you can just get a file on it, then all of a sudden, yeah. And
I got something on you.
And if you're the CEO of a company, if you're a framer of a country,
you're an Elon Musk.
I'm going to give this guy millions of dollars in influence without any way to put a check on him, without any way to make sure that he does my bidding.
Yeah, that's why I help him get there. I better have something on him.
Yeah.
I mean.
Some type of control. Like, why would I want my creation to be able to overpower me? Just in terms of like just straight up sort of like nation building or corporate
you can start from corporate to nations and governments.
And I've had a feeling of this, but it's interesting that it's sort of validated within your experience of the PD.
Yes, yeah, and I'm only coming to this revelation in the last couple of years, and so I'm 52, and I'm a slow learner, so you're late bloomer.
So you're doing things within the PD that we'll kind of get to and explain, but like you're sort of working in drug trafficking and dealing and narcotics and all this shit, shaking down dealers, and they might have known for longer, but they were kind of cool with it because it kind of went in your tickler file. So
they knew about it for 5 years.
5 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And they put a lot of energy in it at one time, and then what happened, and this is something that you may not be aware of, but many of your listeners probably would be, is the 77th Precinct ends up getting arrested.
Right.
So after they get arrested, I roll the dice, and I go, so after they get, so let me be factual. After the 77th gets taken down, 13 or 15 cops, whatever it is, the rumors start flying. We're next.
Yeah, 75th.
75th is next. And so I would say 5 or 6 of my immediate co-workers disappeared, and they shipped me off to Coney Island. My inspector deputy inspector, Kevin Farrell, nicest guy in the fucking world, bro. I mean, really salt of the earth, both a good human being and a good cop, which is not easy. Just so you know, those words, good human being and good cop, is not an easy bridge.
But he was solid.
He was a solid dude. And he's the guy who would go, all right, today is we have precinct, every month you had a precinct meeting where the guys would gather and just go over life, play cards, play pool, just have a good day together
great.
for each other, bonding, building. And if you're working patrol that day, you can go to the club meeting, have 1 or 2 beers, but that's it. Don't overdo it, please, guys. You know, but I want you to be able to bond with each other because that's the only chance to be together. Everybody, because on that day you'd have 200 to 300 because there's 360 cops in the precinct, which is a lot of people, by the way.
It's hard to build camaraderie.
Exactly. So in order to get together, they let you, hey, listen, during your lunch hour, you can go in because food was free and you could have a couple of beers for free, but don't overdo it. So it was like a gentleman's thing. Okay, guys, you're men.
Yeah.
You can have a beer or two.
Handle
Even though
your
I
shit.
know you're on patrol, you can, during your lunch hour, handle it. Don't get out of control. Don't embarrass me or yourself.
So what happened?
So no, it's good. So, but my point is that he comes to me and my partner and says, "Why don't you guys put in they call it a 57 because you'll have cops listening and shit. They call it a 57. 57 is a transfer request." So I go, oh, "Okay, well, why would you be telling me that? I'm only here 3 years in the 7.5." He goes, "You know, after a couple of years in the ghetto, you can get burnt out real quick." Now he just came from a borough meeting. Now, the borough meeting, you may know what borough means, but people out there don't.
Sure.
So the borough is what's in charge of the local, like, say, 8 or 10 precincts. You have a borough command that is in charge of them. If I say 16th Division, I could be wrong, but whatever it is, it's the borough command. Brooklyn North, Brooklyn South. So Brooklyn North Borough Command, he just came from a meeting with them. He has me and my partner drive him. He has me and my partner pick him up. Now, we're 3 years in East New York with a senior man on patrol. You don't take your senior man off patrol. So he's got to chauffeur boys to this meeting. So when he comes out of the meeting, the subject matter is, why don't you guys put in a 57?
And do you pick up on it immediately of what's going on?
I'm scared to death. I'm like, this is fucked up. The next day I'm in Queens, knocking on the door of the 114 and the 110 precinct because I knew them. I worked there as a rookie. Now I'm a salty East New York guy.
Yeah.
This is fucking la-la land for me. I can't wait to try to get back. No one would take me. I put 57 requests into these precincts. No one would take me. And so, yeah, it was disheartening to say the least. So now I'm stuck. I had phone calls made. My uncles, I had people in the job, all throughout, and they can make a move. No one could get me moved. So they ended up sending me to Coney Island, Coney Island. I ended up in a big brouhaha over there over several things. I mean, I'm in the fucking Coney Island. It's a party. I'm getting in trouble over there, too. I just can't help myself.
Yeah.
Anyway, and stupid shit. Nothing crazy. But
Now we're skipping forward a little. I just want to circle back to, you first have that interaction with the Corvette, the Puerto Rican guy in the Corvette.
Right.
Get some money from him. And you're just like, all right, fine.
Right.
All of a sudden, you turned your weekly income from, a couple $100 a week to a couple $100 a day.
Right.
And that's a pretty significant jump.
Sure it is. I mean, I triple my pay in 2 days.
And what's the problem? Like, you're getting paid. This guy, he's
I can rationalize and justify, well, this guy wasn't hurting anybody. He was just selling crack.
And he's not getting arrested.
And he's not getting arrested.
So he's happy.
He's happy.
You're happy.
We're good.
What's the problem?
Business. It's like an ATM machine.
Yeah, exactly. So then all of a sudden this starts turning in your head, and you also realize, okay, all these other cops, everyone's doing fugazi shit.
They're all doing something.
Yeah.
Because this guy's complaining. Someone just took 300 off of me. I'm like, oh Jesus, who else is doing this?
Oh wow. So in the interaction, he says that.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so then how long from that do you actually start, shaking down drug dealers and?
Well, that's a shakedown.
Right, but I guess.
So when do I get into the big time?
Yeah, that you start really
with
kind
the
of
Diaz crew and the other guys.
Yeah, like what is the time frame from
So
that
yeah,
window?
so I go to Coney Island. I get because of all that shit, the shit stuff I'm doing, shaking down local kids, selling crack. I end up getting. They know. The precinct knows.
But how long are you doing that for?
This is about probably 2 solid years.
Oh wow.
Year and a half, 2 years. That time frame.
When do you actually start touching work, like actually get it, like touching drugs?
Oh.
Immediately.
So my first day in East New York was I ended up getting a high from fucking formaldehyde. What is it? Was angel dust?
Okay.
I make an arrest, gun, drugs, Tommy Parks and Bogart. I forget Bogart's first name, but they're out there. I think they might both be dead. Who the fuck knows? Anyway, Tommy Parks and his buddy Bogart. Those my first 2 real arrests. The other arrests in Queens I don't consider real arrests, but they were arrests. But, gun and drugs.
Yep.
My first day. I'm vouchering the drugs and the gun and I'm touching the fucking. I don't know anything about fucking angel dust. I'm touching the angel dust, and a guy comes in. One of the old timers comes in and looks at me. He goes, "Be careful with that stuff. You'll be in La La Land in no time." And I'm looking at him, my fucking head's spinning.
No, already.
Shit, I'm going, what the fuck? Why didn't anybody tell me this? I'm sitting there handling angel dust with my hands.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm like, he's getting absorbed right into my skin. It's like, whoa.
And that's early on.
I'm not wrong. There's nothing wrong with me.
But you had mentioned the first time you had seen crack, you didn't even really know what it was.
No, threw it out.
Wow.
Well, yeah, which is not which that's an understatement because just because we threw it out, I would throw out cocaine too because I didn't care.
What was protocol within the
voucher it, and if you find it,
yeah,
of course if it's on someone they get arrested.
Right.
But if you find it, you bring it to the precinct and voucher it for safekeeping or destruction.
Right. And that's what the protocol is.
That's the protocol.
And why are you not doing that originally? Like,
because it's just.
Is it because you're not arresting the
volume.
guys?
It's volume. I
There's
mean,
so much.
Yeah, it's just everywhere. You know, you start walking, you pick it up, you find the guy. So you get a call, drug sales. That's how most cops don't just come across shit. You know, it's the odd time when you come across it. Let's just put it that way. Now, when you're a skilled officer, you learn where it's happening and where the transactions are taking place, so you can frequently come across more activity. But no one goes like this here. Here's the crack, right. You know, here's the cocaine. You know, that's not how sales take place. It's very sly, very slick. It could be a hand move. It could be a bag over there. Listen, give me the 50 here. There's 5 over there. You know,
yeah.
Yeah, it's not like today with the marijuana. People throwing it around.
No, they're trying to outsmart you.
Yeah.
And oftentimes it's working.
Yeah, and they don't want to expose themselves.
Right.
So when you start coming across it, that means it's either being left because the guy's like, oh, I don't know, that's not mine, officer. You box of Marlboros, you open it up, there's fucking 12 crack vials, 20 crack vials in it. Or the guy with it in his mouth. Mm-hmm. I made him spit it out. You know, I didn't know what the fuck it was. Yeah. He goes to swallow it. I grab him by the throat.
And you know it's drugs. But
you know it's drugs, but you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
We didn't know what the fuck it was, man. They're charging him with unknown substance. You know?
Yeah. And when do you realize, like, oh, I can start, you know, working with guys to sell this?
Yeah, well, that doesn't take long, bro. You know, we're entrepreneurial spirits at some point. My partner at the time, I won't say his name because he'd probably be mad. Jerry. Anyway, I won't say your name. He had a buddy that worked for Brooklyn Union Gas, and they had a whole crew of guys that liked to party cocaine and whatnot. So he brought this drug item to him, and he comes back to me the next day or the day after, and he gives me like $200-300. I go, what the fuck is this for? He goes, remember that stuff we took home? I took the other day? He goes, yeah. I go, yeah. He goes, that's cocaine. I go, what? He goes, yeah. Then he maybe, I don't know if he said it was crack or whatever. I mean, I didn't remember the conversation specifically. I didn't write it down. But whatever the conversation was, he says, yeah, here's the money. We get 300 each, whatever it was. He says, split it right in the middle. I go, okay, great. I mean, that's cash cow, bro. I was clearing $307 a week at that time.
Right, and you're paid as a cop. That was
like cleared $307 a week at that time.
Wow.
So it was 1984. It could be 85, but I'm let's go with 80.
And all of a sudden you make a couple $100 in a day.
Yeah.
Ching. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, so it's wrong. I mean, we can sit here, I can cry over it.
No, of course, but it's also you're getting this product for free.
It's there. People are running and leaving it.
Yeah.
So there becomes a point where you start to seek it then because, you know, hey, wait a minute. I need a cup of hunch right away, you know. It's Christmas.
But this guy that gave you the first couple $100, all of a sudden you don't keep going back to him. You will get actual guys that are connected that then start selling it for you, right?
Yes. That would be a not crack. I don't. So we do the crack for probably about 6 months.
Mm-hmm. This is you and your partner.
My partner, like he would bring it home and get rid of it. But see, so what happens is then you find individual scores. Okay, so you come across a call, drug sales that 264 Pitkin. I'm making a number up and everything. You roll up to 264 Pitkin, you get out of the car, and the guy sees you coming, he takes off, he leaves his shit.
There you go.
There you go. It's yours.
Free.
What do you want to do with it?
We could throw it away. We could turn it in. Or I can give it to my buddy.
Oh, my buddy in fucking Long Island or my buddy in Brooklyn. You know, and all of a sudden it becomes a revolving door.
But when do you start actually building the relationships with the drug dealers themselves?
So that takes place when I meet Barron. Barron was a local Auto Sound City was the name of his business. So he would install those big systems. You probably never saw one.
Yeah.
Because you're a little young,
Yeah,
20's the other side of 20 that you are. But you probably have seen images of them or heard stories about them.
Sure.
Okay. So the fucking woofer was this big in the back of the car.
Awesome.
Yeah. And they had, I don't know what you would call the little 10-inch ones all over here. And then the side panels had shit. And they have 10, 15 speakers, like a discotheque in the whole car. And they were actually fun, to be honest with you, but they were obnoxious. Anyway, and that's a $20,000 system. Now, who the fuck has $20,000 to put into music in a car? And the car ain't worth 15. Now, don't get me wrong. There were some Porsches and Mercedes, of course. But they would start out sometimes in a Hyundai or whatever the hell you want to call whatever it was at the time, and they'd gas them up with $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 systems because they had that kind of money. So now I run into Barron, I see all this shit going on.
How do you meet him?
I meet him because his girl's standing next to this red Corvette out in front of his shop. And she has hair like you, pretty, except dark, a little curly, pretty motherfucker like that. And she was attractive. Like, yeah, hold on. And really good looking girl. And so you stop and look. You're a cop in the street. You're making sure everything's okay.
Make sure she's safe.
Make sure she's safe. It's this red Corvette and dangerous red pumps on. You want to make sure everything's all right. So, and I see this ugly-looking Dominican guy standing there, ugly as sin, and he had hair like you too.
Yeah.
He had that curly. Back then they put the grease in it that would make it look like Michael Jackson's hair. Yeah. So, and the broad and him had matching hair. And I'm like, are they brother and sister? Because she's ugly, motherfucker. And he goes, that's my wife. I go, get the fuck out of here. That's the truth. I don't get the fuck out of here. No way. He goes, that's my wife. He goes, her name was Chicky. He goes, Chicky, tell him that. She goes, yeah, I'm his wife. I go, oh my God. Wow. What'd you do, bro? Okay. Anyway, so it was and then we became fast friends. And then I just, it was obvious that when a guy comes in with more ropes than Mr. T around his fucking neck, he's fucking 26 years old, maybe not even, and he doesn't work, and he's got a $80,000 Porsche with a $25,000. Come on, I can do the math real quick, all right?
And why does he trust you?
Barron?
Yeah.
Because he knows that.
What's up, guys? We're going to take a break really quick because you need to sleep better. Yeah, I'm telling you, everything stems from sleep. Your ability to perform at your job, your ability to work out, your ability to think quickly, your ability to go on dates and talk to women, your ability to have present, active conversations with your loved ones, with your parents. All of it stems from sleep. You might not even realize. You might just be walking around your day being like, man, I feel terrible. And not realizing like, oh, I only slept 5 hours. And of those 5 hours, I was really only asleep for like 1 or 2. I'm telling you, you're going to be spending a massive percentage of your life, like a quarter of your life sleeping. Take it seriously. And if you want to start taking it seriously, what I want you to do is I want you to check out the people at Beam. That's right. The good people at Beam have invented a powder that have helped thousands of people get to sleep and stay to sleep. And that is called the Beam Dream Powder. I tried it. Again, I will never talk about a product on this show that I have not personally tried. And I did it a couple weeks ago. I tried it. I was like, all right, let's just see. Open up the bag. You see the powder. They have a scooper in it, which is nice. A lot of these companies don't include the scooper. Shout out to Beam for including the scoop, thinking about the customer. I take it, drop it in. I just did hot water. Some people do milk. Some people do whole milk. You can go almond milk. I don't think that's crazy. Whole milk might be a little crazy, but to each their own. Do what you will. It tastes amazing with all of them. I just did hot water. Again, still tasted absolutely phenomenal. I was going through the box. I was like, what is in this? This tastes so good. And even on the box, I'm reading all of these different supplements and minerals that I've heard of for years. And I'm like, man, I should be taking it. And finally, I was like, oh, this is the most convenient, easy way that I can start taking all these things. Just a short list. Magnesium, L-theanine, reishi, melatonin, nano CBD, all of these different supplements that are great for you regardless are now put into one powder that's going to help you get to sleep, stay to sleep. I'm just saying, 93% of users wake up feeling more refreshed. I know I did. I woke up that morning, didn't feel groggy at all. And sometimes you take these powders and you feel a little worse. I'm telling you, I felt amazing. I woke up that morning, I was ready to go. I was alert. I felt great the whole day. I've been taking it every couple days ever since then. I'm just saying, for me, it worked really, really well. If you're interested in checking it out and joining the thousands of people that are taking their sleep and their health seriously, you can go to Shop Beam. That's Shop BEAM. And what I want you to do is I want you to check out the Dream Powder. Again, I can't vouch for the other flavors. Maybe the other flavors, I don't know how they taste. But I can tell you the cinnamon cocoa, that one was amazing. So you can check it out. Use the code Gagnon, Gagnon, for up to 40% off your order. That's an amazing deal. Up to 40% off your order to take care of your health, to take care and take control of your life. There's no better investment than in your health. So if you're interested, that's Shop BEAM. Use the code Gagnon for up to 40% off. Let's get back to the show.
We both know that if something's going to go right, we both are risking something here.
And are you bringing up the idea like, hey, man, I get some, I find
so
some
it
stuff.
started
Maybe
like anything else. It starts out with building a trust.
Mm-hmm.
So we become friends, and then we start building a trust, and then the lines start to get a little skewered along the way. And he comes to me and says, I got a guy that wants to know about the holiday weekend, 4th of July holiday weekend. If he could, how much police presence there's going to be. So I go, well, I don't know, how could I help? He goes, if you tell me something, I can get us a lot of money for just telling him what he needs to hear. I said, all right, so $8,000.
Just for info.
Just for the info. For the weekend. One weekend.
That's a good deal.
4th of July weekend. And I'm going to tell him, you're going to have a lot of freedom to sell on 4th of July weekend. And I'm going to get $8,000 to say that. I don't have to provide him anything.
Mm-mm.
I don't have to give him any protection.
No paper trail.
Nothing. All I have to do is tell him, go ahead.
Wow.
And I'm getting $8,000. That's how it started. And as you know, the 7-5 story, because of the documentary, this guy doesn't come through the way he's supposed to. We put him in check. He puts a hit on me. I find him. I pull him over. He turns white as a ghost. And because I tell him, you put a hit on me, motherfucker. Let's go. Let's go out right now and do it. What the fuck? I'm going to wait for you? I'm going to sit in my home waiting for you to show up? Let's go. I got you. Let's go. He called the hit off immediately, and that was the end of that. So that bridged the gap, and then the $700 that he owed me, because he shorted me $700, that showed up at the shop, and the hit was off. So
wow.
I said, okay, we're done. No more of this bullshit. I feel like Baron goes, no, not so.
Oh, really?
Not so fast. So let's see what happens. So in the interim, we hit a couple of scores. Now we have this bond, right? In the interim, we hit a couple of small scores for. I'm just going to exaggerate a little bit because I don't really exact things. A bag of dope, a bag of heroin, some cocaine. I would give it to Baron, and he'd come back and say, "Here's a couple hundred. Here's a couple hundred, whatever it was, Yeah. So now I didn't have to rob the drug dealer or take their money. I could take their drugs and turn it into instant cash with my boy, with Baron, through his connections.
Great.
So now I've now established a drug connection in the precinct where I can make things flow. Then he hooks me up with Diaz organization. They just want protection. They want a guy to watch out, let them know if something's going on. So it became. I began to offer better service. I mean, I stepped up the game, and so the odd thing was I knew very little because patrolmen are not narcotics investigators.
Right.
They do patrol work. You call 911, a narcotics investigator doesn't come to your house. The patrolman does.
Different specialties.
I specialize in handling family disputes, armed robbery, chases, whatever you can do as a police officer, we did. But as far as investigators, we weren't investigating. We were the prevention line. We were the response team. We weren't the narcotics investigators, which take time to develop these cases. So I could only offer him the limited things that I could, which is if I saw undercover in the area, because I'm going to know who's undercover and who's not. I may know who turns out now and then, like will turn out from the precinct, or they used to come in from what they would call the narcotics right over here. The building was right over here on Meeker Avenue. The narcotics division would turn out from Meeker and end up going around little spots around the city so that they weren't local police officers that the local guys would see, the local drug dealers, because believe it or not, you end up in relationships with these people because you see them every day. Because the drug dealer ain't going nowhere. Yeah. Unless he gets arrested, he's going to be there. In fact, he's going to be there more frequently than you because he's earning on that corner, right? So it was like, okay, you're earning on this corner. What am I getting from all this? I'm protecting you too. Am I not?
Right.
Think about being a drug dealer. It's snowing out. It's January. The wind is whipping down the fucking Pitkin Avenue, and you're standing on Pitkin and Crescent or Pitkin and Crystal, and you got your with the hood. What's the snorkel? Is it called a snorkel jacket? Where they had the foam around the elastic.
Oh, yeah.
You don't even know. There was snorkels.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
Or the triple fat goose jackets. They had, and they be standing there with the wind coming down. It's 40-mile-an-hour wind. It's snowing, and you and them are there.
Yeah, not enjoying the weather.
It's not. I'm not here because I love snow.
Yeah,
they got a job to do. So I would basically go over to them and say, "Listen, when I'm out here, don't embarrass me."
Everyone wins.
Everyone wins. So you develop a relationship with these individuals, and they don't want a problem.
No, they're so happy.
They're in business.
Yeah, a couple $100 for protection.
Yeah, right. So that wasn't always the case. But when I say don't embarrass me, if I'm assigned to a foot post, and I'm going to be out there with you all night,
be cool.
You do your thing where I can't see it, so they don't look like I'm okaying this. But essentially, I am, right? Mm-hmm. I'm his armed protection right now. He's got an arm. He don't need a gun. Yeah. He's got the police across the street. So he wants to make a move. He takes a guy around the block.
Another drug dealer's not going to rob him.
No, but the police are here. Yeah. So
wow.
It's just insane. People don't understand that dynamics.
And did you realize it in the moment that you were offering him protection? Or did you...
Free. Except that I was getting paid by the city.
Right.
So at some point you say, you know what, fuck this.
And did you talk to anyone else on the force? Obviously, your partners are
well, we're all familiar with the same thing, but not everybody thinks the same way.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think the difference between you and some of these other guys? Because everyone's in the same position as you.
Exactly.
Could do the same thing.
Correct.
And what do you think is the delineating factor between why you were like, yeah, let me.
Well, I was an accounting student.
Yeah, so you understand numbers.
So I understand numbers and money, and I had none, and I wanted some.
Yeah.
And so I think you get a lot of discerning differences. Are that some people have a price that they're willing to bend the rules and then go one step further. Some people are beyond reproach. I don't know there are people that say there is a number for them too, right?
Of course.
I remember this story from the academy. If it's not life altering, don't make that choice, right? Mm-hmm. But sometimes when you need $100, it could be life altering, right? Yeah. So because you're broke that day. So, but I guess my point is, everybody has a fine line on where they're willing to slip. And it gets less and less because you don't care anymore.
Right.
See, it wasn't about the exact, okay, I can make $6,000 this week. It was more like I didn't care anymore. And if I made $50 or $5,000, it didn't matter. I was gone.
The fear is diminishing.
The guy that was the police officer is no longer the police officer. Yeah. Yes, he does police work, but his mind is a criminal. Mm-hmm. His mind has been eroded.
Yeah. The first time you're doing a deal and cutting a deal with a guy for $500 is terrifying and exhilarating and stressful.
Everything.
And then 2 years later, it's like, what are we talking about?
What are you talking about? I'm getting $8,000 a week right now to say hello.
Yeah.
And I'm not thinking this is wrong. I'm thinking, how can I triple down on this?
Yes.
That's how you start thinking. I need 3 or 4 more guys like this.
And did you see anyone in the force get pinched before you, and did that scare you?
So I'm trying to think when. So the 7/7 happened, and that sent a shockwave. But after it goes away, cops are stupid motherfuckers. Certainly this one is. I mean, after they arrest these guys, and I realize that they didn't arrest us or come and get us, but they did follow us. They were following us.
And they knew everything you were
They knew it. But they just, listen, just because you know, okay, so when I go into that bodega and I come out with a bag of chips and a soda, you don't know that there's a kilo in there. You can assume, but you don't know. And because I was a police officer, they couldn't violate my rights. Like, they might get away with you.
Yeah.
I mean, they could, but they know they got a problem because I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to challenge them. You can't, because this is the police. They said the truth. Meanwhile, everybody knows how to fabricate a story. Why did you think it was drugs? Well, I was told, like, whatever they need to do to get to a position where they didn't violate your rights as an American citizen, that probably many guys, not all, are willing to. What would you say? There's a thing in the academy, I'm going to forget it because it's been so long, but you have to articulate why you did what you did to yourself. All right, why did you pull Mark's car over, and why did you feel the need to go further in the search and open up his fanny pack and find, eight balls in there? Well, because I saw a scale on the floor of the car, and on that there was some white powder, which in my experience led me to believe that it could be cocaine. So upon further investigation, I determined his eyes were fucking beady. He was blowing his nose in an interview. So my point is, if you learn how to articulate why you can justify taking someone's quote-unquote rights away, because that's what you're doing.
Right.
But if you can articulate all the reasons that allow a police officer to intrude in that area, then you can go ahead and do so. So I'm not trying to teach anybody how, by the way, to articulate these things, but there needs to be a gradation, a way it grows, where you get to that point. And why the fuck am I talking about this right now?
Because the 77 guys got jammed up.
So they get jammed up, and when they come after me, they can't get us good. And they don't have any infiltration, which is key.
77 guys had infiltration.
77 had infiltration. They grabbed the guy. Henry Winters was his name. They grabbed Henry Winters and put a wire on him, put him back to work. And then he grabbed everybody, through the sharing of information and stories. So, yeah. So that's how that worked. In our case, they couldn't get anybody to break.
And did you know this?
Well, you never know. You just think you know, right? I mean, because obviously they didn't know in the 7-7, right? And then Winters got 13 of them.
But you felt confident enough to keep on going even after that event.
So you stopped. We stopped.
For
about a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden it was on. Because if you didn't come get us in a year, you ain't coming. But what you don't realize, officer, is that the feds don't fucking come right away. The feds come when they want to come.
Right.
They're masters at deception. Let's just put it that way.
And the whole motivation for this, as you've stated, is for the cash. Like, you're getting so much money. And are you able to relish in these newfound riches that you've gotten?
Homes, condos,
what is the first
Corvettes.
thing that you buy? Do you remember the first thing where you're like, oh, this is...
So the first thing I did as an accounting student is I knew to pay off my debts. So I went and I had, I didn't get the loan. I didn't get the 10 grand from Biden. I had to pay it from Diaz. So I took my money and paid off all of my debt, except for my mortgage on my home. So I was debt free.
And which debt did you have?
So so I wasn't a big debt carrier, but I had student loans from college still. Okay. So I probably paid off about $7,000 in debt.
Wow.
And in 1986,
decent chunk of
that's $30,000 today, damn near, right? So who wouldn't enjoy the little 30 G in your pocket? Right. Anyway, so I was able to pay off all my debt, and I car payments I got rid of, things like that. So I had basically no payments left except my mortgage.
Jewish drug dealer ever.
Yeah, yes. You see, your mom, you were right.
You're selling crack to all of a sudden pay off your student loans.
Very careful. I carry no debt, so when you arrest me, I don't have a debt to leave to my family. Okay, Mom?
I'm so considerate.
Yeah, I'm so considerate.
Oh, this is so funny.
Yeah. So then I ended up with a condominium in Myrtle Beach on the ocean. Yeah. I ended up with a Corvette. But these are the things you acquire because you're a fool. I mean, not that the condo on the ocean was foolish, because it could have been considered a wise investment. Of course, I bought it for $70,000. It went down to $50,000 when I buy it, and then when I sell it 2 years later, it goes up to $240,000. So yes,
Not a real estate mogul.
I would have been, Mister. You know who runs this? Well, is he running it? Maybe he is. I don't know. The tycoon in Manhattan that they're trying to arrest every 3 weekends. Trump. You forgot.
I know. I was like, who's that guy?
They arrested him. They only arrested him fucking for. That's another story. You might get shadow banned. Shadow banned the fuck out of me. Let me tell you. You really do.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we'll get into that.
You can't even find my name. If you put my name in, you have to put the last letter in my name for it to come up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's how you know.
Okay. We'll get into that. But
yeah,
that's a different story.
That's a different story.
So, does your wife see all this money that's coming in? Because at the time,
yeah, sure.
you're still
she
married.
sees money and she likes money, and but she's the one who's saying, you got to stop this.
But she knows everything?
Let's put it like this: she knows that I'm making money that's not legit.
But she doesn't.
She knows it's around drugs.
But she's not asking questions that she doesn't want to know the answer to. And so she's just like, we got the house in Myrtle Beach. What's the problem?
Right.
And do your parents know?
My mother knows, but she doesn't know. Well, of course, I'm denying it,
But she's asking you. She's like,
oh, yeah.
How'd you get this Corvette?
How come your brothers need money every 2 weeks and they both have police and fire jobs and you don't?
You had other siblings on the force?
Yeah. I had 2 brothers that were cops and 2 brothers that were firemen.
Oh, wow. And the 2 other brothers that were cops?
Yeah.
Were they same precinct? Were they?
No. One was in Queens and one was in Manhattan.
And what did they think?
I would say that they thought, how do we join you? Let's put it like this. One's lucky he got his pension and the other one deserves it. Let's put it that way.
Wow. How interesting.
Yeah.
And, okay. So people are aware of what's going on. And then you start to get really cocky. And tell me the timeline of this. Once you start getting the Corvette.
Well, when the 7-7 breaks out and the trouble dissipates, and I start to become financially well-heeled, right? At this point, you're making $8,000 a week. You've got drugs. You have an exciting life. You're going from murder scene to murder scene. You think you're it. You're in Vegas. You're in Atlantic City.
Yeah, it's
You're in the Bahamas.
Like,
you're in Myrtle Beach.
Explain a
Who's
week.
better than fucking me?
Give me 2 weeks of your life at this time, like at the height of it.
So I'm out golfing in Myrtle Beach.
Yep.
I'm flying back to New York. I'm flying out to Vegas. I mean, so that wouldn't necessarily be in the same 2-week period,
sure.
but within a month or two
Paint
of
the
each other.
picture.
Atlantic City,
Gambling a little.
gambling. I mean, I'm cheap. My mother's Jewish, so I'm a little cheap. But I'm dropping 500. I'm a cop in the ghetto. You're dropping 500. That's a week's pay more, right?
And then you come back to the city.
You come back. I go to Studio 54, the Limelight.
Wow.
You're out bouncing.
You're going to Studio 54.
Yeah.
What's that like?
Mark Gastineau was there.
Oh, yeah.
You don't know who Mark Gastineau is?
Was he one of the 2 guys that ran it?
He was a football player.
Oh, really? Who's that?
The New York Jets football player.
Okay.
Yeah, he was just, I saw him on TV yesterday.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So how often are you going to Studio 54?
Well, I only went to Studio 50 a total about 3, maybe 4 times in my life.
And what was it like, though?
But it was wild.
Crazy.
It was wild. Limelight was even worse. I mean, it was like, Studio 54 was a big dance club. You could have a lot of fun. And if you knew people, you probably got to the other areas. But as a cop, you got in for free. So that was the deal. Yeah. The cops, they let in free. And it was $30 to get in the fucking, $25 to $30 to get in the club back then.
They knew that you were a cop and they were okay with it.
Yeah. The cops worked the door.
Cops
worked the door, or guys had relationships with the local cops that worked the door. So if you showed up with the badge, they said, come on in.
And are you
around everybody else? Like the line was fucking 60, 80, 100 deep.
And are you doing blow at this time?
No.
Oh, you're not?
No.
So you're going out and partying, but you're just drinking. You're not doing ecstasy.
Correct.
You're not doing cocaine.
We're talking about development here, but I'm talking about that was what life was like.
Right.
But so
this is pretty sweet.
Yeah, the Yayo starts in 80. After a hockey game, my partner made me do a bump with him. In I forget it. It was 85 or 86. I can't remember. I can't remember exactly. I think it might have been 85, March 85 or April. the New York City Police Department, Fire Department, it might be 86, because I think the 85 game was in Madison Square Garden, which was the last hockey game between Fire Department and Police Department in Madison Square Garden. And my brother was the star of the game. So, and it was very important to us as a family, and and as so that's how I got him. I got him in the police department because he could play hockey. So there's a lot behind the scenes. It's a good story for the TV series or whatever. And so after the game, the one that was on Long Island, the first one on Long Island, which they won also, which was like 2 in a row. That was like incredible. My partner at the time, he said, we're sitting in the car, we're going over to Buttles in people know what Buttles is in your audience. Buttles in East Meadow, right across from Nassau Coliseum. And the game finishes, we go over to Buttles, we're sitting in the parking lot, we're getting ready to go into Buttles, and he goes, I'm going to do some cocaine. I go, okay, I don't give a fuck what you do. I didn't even dawn on me, because I didn't do drugs. And he goes, but that's not it. I go, well, what do you mean? He goes, I'm doing something, you got to do something. So I went, well, I don't need, he goes, I want to do some, and you got to do some with me, because otherwise, we're not together, I don't want you having anything over on me, whatever. So I said, all right. So he did a little something. He gave me a little blast, whatever it was, and it didn't do anything to me. Did nothing for me at all. And I said, okay, let's go. We went to Buttles. We had a couple beers. Probably spent 2 hours in there. Probably danced some chicks. Back then, even if you couldn't dance, you danced, Yeah. And then, I don't know if I went home or got laid. How the fuck do I know? But anyway, so that was my first time doing Yayo. We call it Yayo back then.
Yeah.
Did you know?
Yeah,
Did you know Yayo?
Yeah,
Yayo?
Yeah.
I don't know. Not everybody knows what Yayo or Blow, whatever it is.
But then you do it a couple of times later.
So about a month or two later, I hit it every day.
And then that's when it starts.
That's when it starts. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, just boom, went off to the races. Because I thought it was going to kill me, like any new thing, you're fearful,
You're putting some shit in your
Yeah,
head.
you're putting stuff up there. So
not going to be good.
Yeah, what could be good until you find out
How great it could be.
Yeah, stop. That's not good for you.
No, of course.
It's about the pink shit was good.
And so you're getting all the stuff from the legit guys.
Yeah,
You're
this is
taking
straight off the block.
Noriega's shit.
See this? It looks like this, pink.
Yeah. And then you're dealing with you guys. How do you get linked up with Diaz?
So that was when Barron told me, don't give up yet. You've had a bad experience with this one guy. The fuck was his name? Jesus, I'm getting old. Cello. Yeah. Cello was his name. Mm-hmm. We got rid of Cello. We're done with him. And he ends up dead. His own people killed him. And then Barron says, don't give up. And he says, I got this guy. He's got this Porsche and this Mercedes here. I said, yeah. He says, I'm doing his cars right now. He says, but I think we can get him to work with us. So I'm like, whatever, let me know. So he goes, a couple days later, he goes, I got the guy. He wants to meet. I says, okay, you tell him $24,000. We'll sit down and talk to him. Wow. Just give us 24 to talk. I said, there's no guarantee. Just give us 24,000. We'll have a conversation with him. And then that was off to the races. We sat down with him about 3 days later. He came in with a bag of money. He sent the money in first. Here's the 24,000.
I mean, he's such a character.
Everybody loves
Diaz. He's
Diaz.
great, and you like him immediately.
I still love him.
But immediately he's just
he's just easy.
He's charming.
Well, I knew him before, but I didn't know him.
You were familiar with him.
I was
from
familiar
the world.
with him from the street.
Right.
We had a conversation once or twice prior, but never knowing. He didn't say I'm selling cocaine out of my was it the VCR? Back then they were VCR stores. I think what do you call them? Then they were Betamax stores, whatever they were. But he told they rented VCRs. He had a brand new VCR store in the ghetto. He looked like he spent $30,000-$40,000 in cash in the beautiful looking store. And I looked at him. I go, something's not right here. And he's got working white Capizios, a red Porsche. He's got those parachute silk pants on. I mean, he looked sharp as could be back for the time, Blonde hair, blue-eyed Dominican.
Yeah.
What are you, the devil, motherfucker? And he was funny, and he was cute, like wholesome-looking guy, And so I had met him, and I go, yeah, okay, I get you, like one of those knowing, yeah, I know. I'm fixing up the place. Oh, yeah, you're doing a good job, yeah.
And then you guys basically you guys work together for, the rest of the time up until it kind of all goes down, right?
No, that's not accurate. Diaz and I only had a payment working relationship for about 5 months.
Okay.
And then he began to give me cocaine because business was hurt by a couple of robberies that took place, and he had to rebuild, start all over. He left the country for about 6 months, so there was a lot of transition there. So there was a point where he was just giving me cocaine. He'd take a couple ounces. That's all I can do right now. I'm sorry, And I had transitioned into, I had left the 7-5 and went to rehab. So that was called the farm. So I was in the farm for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
So I was on the, what they call rubber gun squad. You might have heard these types of things. Right. Light duty. I was, so I was sidelined from police work, and I was still active in that other world, So I kept contacts in it so I needed the money. Yeah. I had a condo in Myrtle Beach. I had 2-3 homes on Long Island. I needed the cash, even though I had some nice rental incomes at the time.
Right. And so you guys do that for 5 months?
Well, so we have that relationship, and then it morphs into something else where it's basically just cocaine, and then he ends up eventually getting taken down by the feds because a bunch of people, and they go throughout the 7-5 documentary, a couple of them come and go throughout it. They end up informing against him, his own people.
Right.
And he ends up getting arrested. And then about 5 years later, 4 or 5 years later, I get arrested, which, we're fast forwarding a little bit right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I could no longer work with Diaz. So then I developed relationships with a bunch of other guys.
Were you at any point, other than the hit being out in your life, scared for your safety?
Yes.
And what was that experience?
One very real incident. I was working in Coney Island. Remember I told you Coney Island? I was working on Coney Island. I came home, and I had an incident in the street with a cop. We had an incident. He was off duty. I don't want to get too deep into the incident because we'll save it for the script. But so long story short is, I'm getting phone calls at my house every night for about a month. Every time I walk in the door, 5 minutes later, the phone rings. And I was working 6 to 2s in Coney Island, so I get home at 2:30. Well, I get home about 3 a.m. At 3:15, the phone's ringing, and this went on for about a month. Anyway, so and I'm going, why don't you just say something, motherfucker? Just say, come out with it. Finally, he goes, I'm fucking your wife, and my wife's on the other line. Who is this? I go, shut the fuck up! I finally got him to talk. What are you? And he's laughing now. The guy's, I've been banging her. I've been picking up at the train station in Brentwood while you're at work, when she comes home from work, and I've been fucking her every day. I said, oh, okay, nice. Anything else you want to share with me? No, I just think, blah, blah, blah. I said, oh, really, you doing this? He goes, yeah. I says, well, why don't you come to my house and we can straighten it out right now? He says, why don't I put a bullet in your fucking head right now? Right now. He goes, why don't I put a bullet through the window in your head right now? I'm standing in front of a plate glass, sliding glass doors. The backyard sliding glass doors onto a porch or a deck. I hit the fucking ground, start crawling across my fucking rug. I go, damn, there's a lot of sand in this rug. Get in here with the vacuum, mother. So I'm crying.
What is she doing all day,
True
right?
story.
She's banging this guy, not vacuuming.
She must be banging this guy because there's just sand all over the rug. Anyway, I crawl into the back, like to the other room, and my son's in there, and she's in there, and I'm going, oh, fuck. She goes, what? She says, stay down, low. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm calling the police. I'm calling the city police. I'm calling Suffolk County police. Anyway, it turned out it was the guy I had the argument with in the street, as we found out later, much, much later on. We would find out. And what had happened was, he caused such a ruckus in the street that they he put in a complaint against me. Fast forward, I end up seeing him on Long Island in a crack house. I drop a dime on him for being in the crack house.
What does that mean, to drop a dime?
Made a phone call.
Okay.
Yeah. So I drop a dime on him. I made a phone call. And that there's this apparently this New York City police officer is in a crack house in Islip, New York, right next to the train station, above the dry cleaners. And everybody from Islip knows what I'm talking about. And back in the 80s, it was crack house upstairs. And he walks out, he gets back in his vehicle. So I want to get him now. He put a complaint in against me. He's a piece of shit as far as I'm concerned because he's out here on Long Island. So you can sell crack in Brooklyn. Anytime. Excuse me, Brooklyn, I love you. I was born in Brooklyn. But you can sell crack in Brooklyn, but you can't sell crack on Long Island, all right? So he's involved in the crack business on Long Island. And at this time in my career, no bullshit, I was clean and trying to maintain I was coming back from the bad things that I had done. Remember the Coney Island? They sent me to Coney Island.
Rehab.
Prior to rehab, they sent me to Coney Island. I straightened out my life. I had a new child. I was going to be a good policeman again. That never works out, just so you know. You can't be a good policeman, a bad policeman, and then a good one. That doesn't work. No one trusts you. Why are you still on the job? There's a whole series of things that comes with that. You feel as though you've betrayed everybody that was doing the right thing. So unless you could find somebody that's done the wrong thing to be part of your gang, your crew, your organization, you're on your own. So it's a very lonely feeling. And you seem a gregarious social being, so I had to find somebody, and sure enough, I found the corrupt guys again, and we did good. So that's when we ended up back with Diaz. My neck's killing me right now.
Your neck?
My neck is killing me.
Why? What is it?
I have a bad neck.
Oh, from what?
From life, essentially. You know.
Okay, was it like an incident?
Well, damage, throughout the years. I can't say it. Bottom line is I have a disability.
Oh, wow.
Yes, my arm goes numb. Yeah.
Oh,
from incidents in life. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay, but not related to the stress. I know you'd mentioned the stress.
No. The stress was a different ball game. Yeah, the stress that would kill you while you're driving home. You're driving to work. You're in the right-hand lane. So if you crash, you don't kill anybody.
Yeah.
You know the feeling, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, this just seems so stressful. The whole thing just seems like the guilt kind of weighs on you. Stuff is happening.
I would lay up till 6:30 in the morning, high on cocaine, saying, "Please go to sleep," because the birds are starting to chirp and my fucking son's about to get up. And like you're saying, and you're going, this is what you're saying. Dear Lord, I won't do this again tomorrow.
And then what happens tomorrow?
About 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, that prayer is done. You got it. You made it through.
Yeah.
And it starts again.
Did you ever consider leaving?
The police department?
Yeah.
So, yes.
Let's just get a job. Let's work at a deli.
No, I would never think of that. See, that's the disease of addiction and justification. Why would I get a job? I could just become a better drug dealer.
Right.
That would be my goal if I had left at that time. Mm-hmm. Because I know the ins and the outs. I know where to look for the pitfalls. That would have been my goal, to become a better drug dealer. Well, I mean, so what do? I go to Florida looking to become a police officer on the coast of Florida, so all the drugs that are being interdicted, I can be the guy that catches them.
Yeah.
Not thinking, what a nice career, I can retire early, maybe become a police officer and retire even late in Florida, but I'm already there, right? Because that's where old New Yorkers go.
Yeah,
they go to Florida to retire.
Well, that's a plus.
Right.
That's not the reason.
No, but that's part of the reason we go, because the weather and the weather was, well, let's say there's no winters, right? Essentially, and it was not anymore, but it was a lot cheaper to own a home there. So as a retired or even if you made a basic income in Florida, you could buy a home that's nice and either raise a family in or retire in. But that's not necessarily the case today. Things are quite different in Florida today.
Of course. Now, how do you clean all the money? You're getting all this money.
So like I said, mentioned, I had 4 or 5 homes, condo on the ocean.
But even to get mortgages for the homes.
So
is the bank not looking at your account and being like, you're a cop that makes this? What's going on?
Well, they don't give a fuck. They just look at the numbers, you know?
Bank doesn't care.
They don't. They just look at the numbers. I mean, I had rental incomes. Mm-hmm. So if I owned this home and I had 2 rental incomes, and those 2 rental incomes left me with a net income of like say 500. So this is paid with the rents, 500 left. I now have, I mean, I can tell you how to do it. But now I go to the bank and sign for a new mortgage because that mortgage is already covered with the rental income.
So another one.
And I have $500 income on top of my cop's salary. And then they give you a little leeway for, I don't know what they would call it today, but like hustle money. Like, you know, what do you, I make, and you could, like back then you could put, I make $15,000 a year extra doing gardening, let's just say. I mean, you could put that on your bank loan application. So you would find a way to justify it, and you get another loan, now you get another house. And you do the same thing.
Is this kind of behavior harder to do now? Like, I'm sure there's a lot
I mean, the criminal conduct?
Yeah, the criminal aspect.
Absolutely.
It is harder.
I mean, listen, you're wired. The people are wired. Everyone's back then. If you wore a wire, you were a rat. Today, you're wearing a wire. You're normal, right? I mean, the cops got a wire on. People got their cell phones out. You know, every time they talk to you. Speaking of cell phones, so yeah.
So it's nowadays just the way that the society is, but also, I guess the force is probably a little bit better at spotting corruption.
Well, I would. Well, so they talk about systematic changes. Well, there were a lot of systematic changes put in place after my case, and it just took a while for it to
the ripple to kind of go through.
Right, because change is difficult.
Yeah, exactly. It's generational. You need new cops coming in, being there for 5 years. Exactly,
because you can't have a cop who was in that era running a system that's cleaning up that era, because part of what he has done, even though it wasn't criminal, he still did the same behaviors and was complicit in many of those. So it's a behavioral change systematically. You know, do we want our police officers to be young professionals, you know, strong and firm and uphold the law? Or do we want them to be, that's okay, it's not that big a deal, let's mitigate? You know, you have to determine what you want your police department to be. If you want your police department to be, like today, the other day they were beating up cops that were taking motorcycles because...
Oh, right.
Right. So and they beat the cops up, but they let them go.
Yeah.
Like they let the people go. So, like, there seems to be a generational change, because there'd be turbans on those motherfuckers in my day.
Interesting.
There'd be turbans on them. Right. You know what a turban is?
No. Okay. I assume it's, you know.
It's a wrap.
Yeah.
You know, it's a head wrap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be a head wrap because you touched a police. You touched a police officer.
Yeah.
So was that good? Maybe. Was that bad? Maybe. Right?
It was.
Maybe, or both.
It was what it was.
It was what it was, correct.
That makes sense. And can you tell me about any of the kingpins at the time that you were interacting with that were intimidating? Were you seeing guys that were scary, or like enforcers for gangs that were scaring you?
So nothing scares the police, although there was a scary moment for me. When I took Noriega's cocaine, I went to... I got called for a job. It was a stick-up. Kid robbed the guy for his Kango hat. Can you fucking imagine? You ever hear of Kango hats? It was like a really sporty hat back in the day. And this young kid, Panamanian kid, took a .357 Magnum and robbed some black kid of his Kango hat. So the kid chases him, but the kid runs in his house and locks the door and says, "Fuck you, you ain't getting your hat back." So I was called 911. We show up. And the guy goes, "He ran in there with my hat, da-da-da-da. He put a gun in my face." All right. Knock on the door. The kids laugh at us through the door. But what he don't know is that the lady down on the downstairs apartment opens the door and lets us in. So now we go up to his apartment and knock on the door. So, you know, never mind what the rules of the law are. We're just chasing down a kid with a gun, sticking somebody up, okay? Should I have stopped, turned around, and said, "We need a warrant"? Yeah, okay. Good luck. So... I knock on the door. The kid opens the door, and he goes, "No, you can't come in." So I push in, and I basically robbed the place. Right? I push in. I go, "You're under arrest for fucking sticking a gun in the kid." So I don't have a gun. Well, he says you pointed a gun in his face. He's a complainant. He says you did it. That's done. He says you put a gun in his face. Now, if I don't find the gun, it may make his case more difficult. Turns out we find the gun. We toss the whole house. In the basement, there's cocaine. There's scales. There's minoxidil, whatever, the stuff that they cut cocaine with. There's a whole big shop set down in the basement. So this kid, for a Kango hat...
Blew up the whole operation.
And so after we stole half the cocaine, we could get out. It was hard to get it out of the house because the cops were there.
Ugh, don't you hate that?
I mean...
You're trying to rob a guy
You're trying to rob a fucking drug house and the cops are there. What the fuck? How am I going to do this?
Yeah.
So we can only rob so much. But there was probably... if you asked me how much was in it, I'd say probably 30, 40 pounds. Maybe more.
And what does that sell for?
Well, a kilo at that time was about $32,000. So you're talking $1 million, I guess, if you do the math quick. Probably $1 million of cocaine in the place. And I'm trying to get back in there. Because after the cops left, we cleared out the house. We left. Make it believe, I'm believing.
And
we left.
What is the Kango hat kid doing?
He got arrested.
Oh, he's taking off.
He's taking off. Found the .357 Magnum.
Terrified, probably.
Hey,
not at you guys.
These kids don't give a fuck.
Well, he just blew up the whole operation.
Yeah, that's different. So that's different. So
if
now,
I'm him, I'm not scared of you.
So now we go to Joe's Bodega. We weigh up the stuff. It was about 3/4 of a kilo we had, and we had to break some off for someone else. So we got a half a kilo. The best stuff you ever saw in your life. Best cocaine you ever saw in your lifetime. Anyway, and here's the funny thing. It wasn't in brick form. It was all crystallized. It was like a bag of, so chlorine in a bag. Picture pool chlorine crushed up in a bag.
Wow.
That's what it looked like. And I'm like, this stuff can't be any good. It's not like a fucking compressed brick and shit. So we brought it to somebody. He tested it. He says, this is, what you do is you take cocaine, you pour it in bleach.
If it sinks?
If it sinks, it's good. Okay? You know the story.
Yeah.
You know. Every bit sank. Like nothing floated or it just went straight to the bottom of the fucking chlorine. Oh, like the guy looks at us and whatever the price was, he goes, here's the money. Good, gotta go. But prior to that, we knew it was something decent. So we dropped it off somewhere. I think we dropped it at Joe's Bodega. I can't remember. And we went back to the house. Because I was going to clean the fucker out now. I'm cleaning this place out. I mean...
Yeah, just found the greatest.
Yeah, I mean,
cocaine
this place is full of cocaine. It's not legal. The cops are coming back to get it. My partner and I pull up. There's a fucking limousine there with two Panamanians standing. And I call them Panamanians because I didn't know that at the time, but I found out. They were standing outside with fucking machine guns under their jacket like this, like they were standing like this. As I pulled up in the patrol car, and there was a guy at the head of the car. So there was one here in the back of the limo, and one at the head of the car. And I see the doorway is open to the house that we hit. We didn't hit, but whatever you want to call it. And I think we probably should just keep going. I don't think I'm going to stop here right now. I mean, like that was fear. Because here I am, a police officer in uniform, in a patrol car, with guns, with experience and knowledge, and I pull up to this scene and I went, this is probably something I don't want to do.
Yeah.
That's pretty big statement to say that. These guys intimidated the fuck out because they didn't turn away when they saw the police pulling up.
They were ready to bang.
They were ready to go.
Yeah. This is a mill.
They were ready to go.
And how'd you know that they were Noriega's guys?
It would turn out that the kid was Panamanian, and that I didn't know that at that time Noriega was shipping cocaine in from Bush.
Wow. Wait, what? He was shipping it in where?
For the CIA.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on.
Right. But that's what that operation
That's what that was part of it.
You found the CIA's cocaine?
It's the best.
See,
and they got the best.
This is what makes it difficult in your position where it's like, I can't sell
but I
it.
didn't know it at the time.
Yeah, of course. But it's like...
But now when you look back and see, this is what this was. Because they had an operation. You know why they went into Panama? They went into Panama because Noriega refused to cooperate with them anymore because he put the cartels together. Some of these things are a little different. But Noriega was involved in coordinating the transportation of the cartel's cocaine. And then he had a disagreement with Bush somewhere along the way, somehow, some way, and they sent the troops into Panama to take Noriega out and put him in prison.
Yeah.
In Mariana Prison, where I ended up. But he had just left before I got there.
Oh, wow.
They put him in his own quarters because he was the president of a nation. They gave him his own place to sleep and shit like that. He had his own cell. And I think they just let him go out not long ago.
Wow.
He did like 28 years, something like that. I can't. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But that is insane that you...
I had his cocaine.
Not only his cocaine.
CIA.
You had CIA cocaine.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
I can imagine. I mean, if it got here,
No one tainted it.
Didn't have to get cut with it.
It wasn't tainted.
Wow.
But to get it in that form was the odd thing. It was in bags, thick plastic bags, but straight up, like in the bag, not compressed, like you would see how they paper it and they wax it and they tape it and they stamp it with fucking, what's his name? Pablo fucking Escobar's the logo on it or something like that. But this was just straight bags of cocaine.
And how did the deal work with the CIA, with Bush and Noriega?
Oh, I don't really know, to be honest with you. I'm a fool when it comes to that. So someone's going to tell if I with Barry Seal was involved. Let me tell you something. It was deep.
Right.
It was deep.
Yeah. I was curious if you had like different information. I
would have the same information you have.
Okay.
I may have spoken to one or two people close to those things, but that's.
Did you do
So I'll give you this.
Okay.
I spoke with, you ready? Mic drop. Bill Clinton's brother. No, Bill Clinton? Yeah. Bill Clinton's cousin. Bobby Joe Blythe. Now, if you know Mrs. Bill Clinton's mother's maiden name is Blythe. So Bobby Joe Blythe was in prison with me in Ayer, Massachusetts, in Fort Devens. He was running the cocaine from South America. I wasn't in the plane, so I don't know exactly where, to Mena Airport in Arkansas. He was a pilot. Bobby Joe Blythe.
Wow.
He was flying it in for Clinton.
And he said it was for that? He said it was, completely unrelated, and I just happened to be flying in cocaine?
No.
Wow.
No. He says, I was flying cocaine in for my uncle, for my cousin.
And his cousin didn't bail him out? Didn't give him a pardon, couldn't...
He did 2 years. It's a 1,000-year sentence. It's a 1,000-year sentence. Someone had to pay.
Wow.
He was laughing the whole fucking way to the bank.
Oh, this is interesting.
He's still laughing. He goes, they gave me 2 years for money laundering.
Oh, that was his charge?
Yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah. So there you go.
Wow.
So you think it doesn't exist? It does.
Yeah, this whole thing goes deep, huh?
Yeah.
And did you do the CIA's cocaine?
Let me think. I don't want to lie. So, did I do? No, I didn't do that one.
You didn't?
No, because I hadn't done any yet.
Oh,
the hockey game was about to come, and then I found some pink on my own.
that would have been
a blast.
Wow.
They called it bazooka. I don't know if you know that.
No, what's that?
Bazooka. You ever see bazooka? You ever see a piece of bazooka bubble?
Joe. Yeah.
You see the bubble gum?
That's what it
looked like.
Wow.
That had the colors in it.
This is so interesting. And so, tell me, how do you go from this at the height, houses in Myrtle Beach, the cars, all of this, the life,
right?
You're going out.
I had a really interesting dynamic life, yeah.
And then what is that downward spiral? The stress starts.
So
to
what
sink
happens
in.
is you end up. So I ended up over drinking, over partying with the cocaine. Not as much as people are led to think, though, but just too much. And I ended up in rehabs.
Yep.
2 years in the rehab section, let's call it, on the lam, whatever, rubber gun squad. Then I went back to patrol, and my life was miserable because like anything else, I was on a fake high, and I ended up where it's supposed to take you, to the bottom. Right. So at that moment, family was disintegrating, relationships disintegrating. It's funny because when you're one of seven, you learn how to survive. Like you really do. You might understand this. You really learn how to survive. So just before the last blade of grass and the edge of the earth, you're able to pull yourself up because you don't have that quit in you.
Yeah.
Something about being from a large family, you don't have quit in you because your dad's worked 6-7 jobs. It's instilled in you that go back to your basics. So you go back to your basics.
You figure things out.
You figure it out. So for a while, you go back to basics. You start getting it right.
Good cop.
Good. Like, I've told you that, and then I'll tell you. And so I did it again. So I'm good cop again. And I landed in the 9-4, and it'll take 2 years from there for it to end because when I get in the 9-4, I change my whole script. I try to do things differently. I'm much wiser. I'm much older. I'm fairly, this is not going to be an accurate statement, fairly clean. I don't have this constant cocaine abuse thing going on, although I use it every day. Excuse me. Hold on, Dowd. What'd you just say? What I'm saying is I really would use it almost like medicine. I have about 5-6 drinks and do about That's like medicine. That's not bad. I'm sorry. But you know, that's what, so it wouldn't be like I wouldn't be attached to a bag of cocaine and a straw.
Right.
But what it would be is I would use it as a way to stay out later again. I was going back into that.
You're using it to cut the alcohol, and you're drinking a lot to not feel as much to handle the stress.
Right.
But you're drinking too much, and how do you deal with too much drinking?
Pops. Yeah. So it was justification for everything. So now what happens is Kenny gets a pension. I get Kenny his pension.
And Kenny is?
My ex-partner who was involved with Diaz and myself. So Kenny gets a pension. He gets home, he retires, and he wants to become a drug dealer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's got his 3/4 disability pension for the rest of his life. He's 28 years old.
You guys can't give it up.
And he wants to become a drug dealer because he needs extra money. And he calls me up and says, "Can you get me a half a brick?" Don't quote me on the numbers. I don't remember. It might have started out with a big 8, and he might have wanted 2 big 8s. You know what a big 8 is? I don't know if you know.
This is like a
eighth of a key.
Yeah, an eighth.
An eighth of a key, like 4 or 5 ounces, 4 ounces, and whatever it is. And then he wanted me 2 of them. Then he wanted 2 and 3 of them. And can you get a whole kilo? And so and he was selling it. He was paying. I was making a couple $1,000 on a move, and he was making his money.
And at this point, you're not even you anymore. You're like, who cares?
It's my ex-partner.
Yeah.
It's not like he's not a drug dealer. He's my ex-partner.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about my ex-partner. I put him in. I raised him.
And you're not a drug dealer either. You're
I'm a cop.
Yeah.
I'm not dealing drugs. I'm giving drugs to my ex-partner.
Yeah.
So you see how you can tell. It sounds like I'm not even a drug dealer. You know, I'm justifying everything. So he ends up getting, unbeknownst to him, they're on him. They got his wires. They got everybody. They got cops in the 73rd who are robbing drug dealers and bringing cocaine home to him. So he's selling their cocaine. He's running out of cocaine. He's calling me. So anyway, his business is burgeoning. So it comes to a head. I'm being followed everywhere. I'm like, what the fuck?
And you feel it.
I feel it so bad. I'm like, I'm calling my brother. He's in narcotics. He goes, well, if whatever you're doing, you better stop. Anyway, I don't stop. And it turns into a fucking complete, like a gasket's gonna blow. I'm getting followed. I know everything I'm doing. I think that they can hear me. And I'm going, I must be paranoid. Because I think that they can hear me. I think that they know that I'm doing something wrong. Or why do I keep seeing these odd-looking people in odd cars in odd places that I didn't see 6 months ago, 3 months ago? And now I've moved all the way out to Port Jeff. So now I went from Brentwood to Port Jeff. So I'm going another 35 miles from my work past Brentwood to my home. And I'm spending hours on the road bumping and drinking. I mean, 2 beers here, 1 between my legs, and a fucking key in the bag of cocaine as I'm driving down the highway with my knee steering the fucking car.
Yeah. Listening to music.
The news. Listen to the fucking news.
Got NPR on.
Not NPR. Listen to ABC. The talk show at night back then was the old white-haired guy, if I could think of his name. He's still around, by the way. Legendary guy.
Not Carson. This is like Leno.
No. On radio. On radio. The talk show on the radio that they did back then. Yeah. Anyway, the guys out. You guys know who I'm talking about. The white-haired guy. I think he still does a talk show. Anyway. So I'm listening to shit like that on the way home at night, and I'm starting to crash now, bro.
Yeah.
I'm starting to crash right now.
Yeah.
You see me going down here?
No, you're doing great.
I'm going down. I'm going down.
Great,
I'm crashing. Anyway, so I'm starting to crash. So I'm driving home and I'm getting home and I'm looking and it goes, so the benefit to living in a suburb is that you know every car on your block. Mm-hmm. And I'm seeing different cars. I'm pulling at the gas stations. There's people standing there sitting there in their car reading the newspaper at the pump next to me. Like,
weird.
That's not natural. Why would you be sitting at a gas station reading a newspaper? And you got the cut, nice, sharp-looking cut. You got the mustache. Back then it was mustache. You got a bomber on. Something doesn't look right about this. And then I pull out, and then I make a U-turn, and they make a U-turn. Now we know you're being followed, okay? Always make a U-turn. Make a couple of turns and see if they're still there.
Yeah.
In a neighborhood that you know, because if you know the neighborhood, you know why you're doing it.
And
you're trying to see if they're doing it, they're only following you, okay?
if you're taking 3 left turns and they follow,
they're making 3 left turns.
You're getting followed.
You're getting followed. And what they'll do, though, is they'll use a second and third car so that they don't know that.
Oh, so okay.
I think he might have made me. I think he might have made me. I'm going to make a right, and then when he makes whatever turn he goes, I'm going to go the other way. Boom. But then the guy comes in behind you, and you go, "Oh, that's a different car.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's a different car. There's usually 3 or 4 cars in it.
Smart motherfuckers.
Well, it's experience.
What's up, guys? We're going to take a break from this conversation because you need to take the bad out of your habits. Yeah. Tell me if this sounds familiar. You're out with the boys, 2 a.m., you're drinking, throwing down a couple cold ones. Who knows? Maybe some Bud Lights, maybe some Tall Boys, if you know what I'm saying. And you're doing a couple more and you're hanging out outside the bar, and all of a sudden someone pulls out a bad habit. You know what I'm talking about. One of those little good ones. You know what I mean? They pull out one of these little skinny boys. And you're like, you know what? Maybe I'll take a hit. Maybe I'll try it out. And that is your mistake. You do that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all of a sudden you're hooked. And that is a bad habit. I'm telling you, if you know me, I don't like to put artificial stuff in my body. I don't like to put crap into my body. I'm trying to be as health conscious as I can. And that's why I got one of these. Yes. Maybe you've never seen it before. Maybe you have one in your hand right now. This is called a Fume. It's an award-winning device that changed my life. With Fume, I don't have to change my habit. I can just take the bad out of the habit. Instead of electronics, it's completely natural. Instead of vapor, it's using flavored air. Yes, it has a little essential oil cartridge right here that goes inside the Fume, and you are just breathing in crisp, cool, flavored air. This is actually the mint flavor. This is the one I like. And then instead of harmful chemicals, it's all natural, delicious flavors. I'm telling you, man, it is a nice, sleek design. It's something that's nice to like fidget with. Listen to this right here, baby. Yeah, I'm doing that all day. Even if I'm not taking a puff of this thing, I'm just spinning it. I love that. So it's sleek, it's cool, it looks cool, it's super discreet. You can travel with it, you can go anywhere in the world with it. I'm telling you, around the studio, we're hitting these things. It's just fun, and it's a good way to keep the habit, but just take the bad out of it. You know what I mean? I know what you're thinking. You're like, flavored air, what does that even mean? And then I went, oh, okay, I get it. I completely get it. I like essential oils. I always use essential oils before I sleep. And with Fume, especially this mint cartridge, it's just a refreshing deep breath that makes me feel calm, cool, collected, takes my anxiety away. It's awesome. So here's what I want you to do. If you're interested in joining over the 100,000 customers that have taken the bad out of their habit, I want you to go to TryFume, that's TryFum.com, and use the code Gagnon, G-A-G, and I want you to check out the Journey Pack. If you use the code Gagnon when you check out the Journey Pack's going to give you everything you need to get started on your journey of taking the bad out of your habits. Stop putting harmful chemicals into your body. Try to be a little more health conscious, especially if you're putting down brews, right? You don't want to just double up. So you can go to TryFume, T-R-Y-F-U-M, use the code Gagnon, G-A-G-N-O-N, for 10% off your order today. Now let's get back to the episode. Back from a quick bathroom break. We're in it.
We all needed a break. Yeah, now I'm ready to go.
Jackets off. Yeah. Ready, you got the guns out.
Yeah. Used to could.
So now I'm curious. The downfall happens. Is some of this is chronicled in some of your other conversations. You know, you're going into the precinct. You got chiefs next to you. You're doing drug tests. It's all falling apart.
Right.
The empire is crumbling.
The day.
The day.
Yeah.
And you feel it underneath you. The world is sort of opening up. And you're like, I'm not getting out of this.
Right.
That's a dark day.
So yeah. So you just described some of the things that you've heard, and to go through that moment, there's a sense of relief in it. Mm-hmm. And I would suggest that the relief comes after they put the handcuffs on you. Because up until the point, so there's a moment in this whole story, and I recommend if you're really interested in these kind of stories, you go watch the 7-5 documentary.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I don't get any money for it, although I should. But the point is that you'll understand the whole gravity of what takes place when the arrest takes place. And I don't want to get into describing it because you sort of did. Mm-hmm. It's what leads up to it, and the feeling afterward is almost orgasmic. I mean, I'm done.
You've been trying to keep your life together for so long.
Someone just stepped in my way to straighten me out. Whew. Thank you, God.
That's nice.
And it's the worst and the best feeling all at the same time. Because now I can begin to start something different.
For real.
Wherever and whenever that takes place, by the grace of God, not everybody gets that opportunity, right? When a guy does something fucking stupid and he ends up getting a life sentence, he's done.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I was fortunate enough to not get into the parameters that would end me up with a life sentence. But I'll tell you what, when I walked in that door, I was shocked. They offered me 34 years on a plea. That's the first offer they gave me. And I was like, did I kill someone? Am I getting, what the fuck? I took money from drug dealers. They should be happy. I spent it on my kids. Excuse me. It's a joke. Yeah, I hope they understand this is comedic. All right? I mean, I help the environment, whatever. My point is that, like, I didn't know in this America, because you stole some money and maybe sold a little, and here I'm a cop, by the way. You stole some money and sold little drugs. I didn't recognize or realize the magnitude and strength of the federal government. They come in, they fucking whop you with telephone numbers.
What was worse for the sentence, the drugs or the money?
The drug. The money was insignificant in that whole scheme.
Right.
It was the drugs. Yeah, it was the drugs. The drug, because when you get charged with conspiracy, it's the amount of drugs in the conspiracy that gives you your sentence height. And because that's where they get the max in their sentencing.
And how much did they have on you?
So they started out with in excess of 500 kilos. Well, because Diaz was flipping fucking 1,000 a month.
And you're getting his numbers.
I'm getting his numbers, right. If I was flipping 500 kilos, I'd still be doing good. Sorry, Lord. But, so because I'm attached to Diaz's conspiracy by getting paid off, I get that weight in the charge. Motherfucker, if I had 1,000 kilos flipping through my hands a month,
things would look a little different.
Right? Somehow, some way. Either or I wouldn't be here at all. Like dead or gone for life, you know? So
or
anyway.
Fake dead, who knows?
Belize. Was it McEnroe or McIntyre in Belize? The computer guy that ended up running up to Belize. And,
oh, really? I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. So he's McAfee.
Well, McAfee. Yeah, the software guy. Yeah. So then you end up going through trial.
Yeah.
You get sentenced to 14 years.
So, but it was quite the process to get there. But yes, eventually I get 14 years. Funny, I go in front of the judge. The judge says to me, so I went before the commission called the Marlin Commission. Very interesting. We spoke about it earlier. Very interesting thing came out of it, the Tickler files, which...
Tip of the iceberg.
That's something that I should actually, but I'm not a researcher. Unless I'm in prison, I do a lot of research. When you hold me down, I do a lot of research, okay? I'm very good with the books in prison, the legal books. But when it comes outside of prison, for some reason, I'm busy. Too busy. And but the research, the Marlin Commission and what came from it and the Tickler files and what they did and why they were developed and who else has Tickler files. I mean, that's like an Epstein thing.
Yeah. How deep does it go?
Right,
crazy.
Okay? So who knows? I end up getting in front of the judge and I testified before the Marlin Commission. And let me tell you, I was the baddest person in New York City. John Gotti was just sentenced. Sammy the Bull flips on him. Mary... Amy Fisher shoots Mary B out in Merrick in the head because she's a stripper girl, whatever you call her. She's a hustling girl, a sex girl. Yeah. And the husband says, "Well, if you get rid of my wife, Joey Buttafuoco, and the Amy Fisher. Amy shoots Joey's wife. This is the fucking news of the day." And Michael Dowd. Okay, I'm on the front page of every newspaper in the country. Certainly for the day of the arrest, May 6th. Yeah. And then for 2 years, I was in the newspaper almost every day, in different newspapers. There was over 350 articles written about me in a year and a half, in combination of all these newspapers. I mean, so there's an industry out there making a lot of money off of me again, while I'm getting myself thrown in a can. And
Gotti was just sentenced.
Gotti was just sentenced as I'm getting arrested.
Did you ever meet him?
I saw him in MCC, New York.
Oh, wow.
he had just blown trial for the first time, and Sammy Bull was put in a witness protection program. So when I used to go to my visits in MCC New York, I'd get special visits because I was a cop. I had to get private visits because they didn't want me getting killed or injured badly, whatever. Excuse me. So I'd have to go to the 11th. So I lived on 9 South, which is the hole. So I was in solitary confinement, and they would take me on a private visit. And when I would go up to the 11th floor, I would visit on the 11th floor with my family. So they would shut this down. They shut the whole prison down. When they moved me, the whole prison was frozen, so no one could move.
Wow.
So when I would go up to my to the visiting room, John Gotti was on his tier there with another guy from East New York, black guy. Turned out to be a good friend. Who I tried to rob him, he wouldn't pay me. Fucking bastard. Oh God, what a good kid though. He was a good kid.
Really?
Bad guy, but a good kid.
Where was he out of?
Oh God, I'm trying to think of his name. Christopher Moore. Everybody knew Christopher Moore. Christopher Moore ran mostly all the marijuana, and then he ended up in crack like everybody else in East New York on Belmont Avenue, and I want to say Logan, but I know it's not exactly Logan, but it's one of those streets of Belmont. Anyway. So he was a big player out there, and he was in there when him and John Gotti were sitting on the tier facing out through the cage. There's a tier, like a raised tier, and there's a cage with a dozen cells in it. So those guys weren't put in their cells, but they were put behind the cage. So they were locked in their tier, and just for the moment as I would pass through, and then they would be released. But as I'm going through, guy yells out, "Hey, Dowd!" Now John Gotti's sitting there, and he's looking at me, nodding. He wasn't nonplussed, and he goes, "You remember me?" And I look at him and I'm like, "Who the fuck is this guy, man?" I'm handcuffed. Because you get handcuffed wherever you move. And they put me in my visit. I come out of my visit and I walk by, and they locked back in when I come out to go back down. And I go, "Chris Moore." He goes, "Yeah, you remember me?" I go, "Yes, what's up?" Like, am I going to say, "Well, what's up?" I go, "You didn't pay me." Some shit. I made a comment to him. "You're a cheap motherfucker." I forget what it was. I said something to him. He goes, "Yeah." Well, I said, "Yeah, well, because you got to be bold. If you ain't bold, they're going to eat you up." So they end up, he goes, yeah. Like, I couldn't tell what he wanted, but he was just making a statement.
John.
He's just throwing shit out there. "Hey, you remember me?" So I go to my cell, downstairs in my cell. 3 days later, he gets put in the hole. Right next to me. And he's belly shacked. He's belly chained, and his legs are chained together.
Whoa.
And he's in the fucking cell next to me. And I get out on a tier. My recreation was on a tier. That's it. I didn't go outside, nothing. I walked the fucking tier. About a 10 by 12 there. No, about 20 by 30 was the tier. That was my rec. It's 1 hour a day. But when you're out there, there's a phone on wheels. There's a big box, and it has a cord, and you can move the phone from one cell to the next cell. So while I'm out there, I hear, "Hey, Dowd." I go, "What's up?" He's in his cell, belly chained and every fucking thing. He goes, "Can you do me a favor?" Now, here's a guy. He wouldn't pay me. He wouldn't pay me. I wanted $200. He wouldn't give me the $200, right? Back in 1987 or 8. I can't remember exactly when. Maybe it was less than. Might have been 85. And he wouldn't give me the $200. He was a cheap bastard. And so I ended up arresting him. I arrested him that day.
You arrested him?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the day when he didn't give me the money. So I arrested him. He goes, I said, "You had to give me $200, motherfucker." All I wanted was $200. He wouldn't give it to me. So I arrested him. I gave him a summons. I was just fucking mad. I had to do something because he's running his mouth. Yeah. He was running his mouth. He's trying to rob me. Shut the fuck up. I'm not trying to rob you. Now you're under arrest. What am I going to do? I got to do something, right?
And now you guys are sitting next to each other.
So now we're sitting next to each other in a fucking hole in Manhattan. And he's like, "Can you do me a favor? Call my store." So, "Well, what's the number?" He goes, "There's a number." So now he needed me.
Wow.
Like what a turn of fate, right?
So insane.
Yeah, and now I'm handing him the phone. "Hey, Dowd, say, can you do that? Can you get me, can you get me some toilet paper? Whatever. Now we're buddies. Now we're fucking buddies. pretty quick how when they flip scripts. Well, you never know who you're going to run into or what you're going to need. It's how you treat people, right? And I didn't treat him badly. Don't forget, I gave him a summons.
Yeah.
I gave him fucking summons.
Yeah.
It's 200 on this.
At worst, you did your job.
Not really. Actually, I did. I was letting him go.
Oh, wow.
I was letting him go for everything. And then he fucking got mouthy because I want to take 200. I mean, the guy was fucking running a major narcotics ring out of his fucking store.
Wow.
Right? And there was a drug call or some shit to the location. We knew he was selling drugs for years. Chris Moore always was known. And not very many people are that well known because there's so many. But Chris was well known.
Wow.
In fact, funny story, sad too in a way. They offered him 18 months, take a plea and run. He got 45 years.
Damn, that sucks. That's a bummer. And why? They found some other shit on him? And
They just keep going. The feds don't stop.
yeah, it's crazy. So what is prison like for a cop?
So it's a lot of fun. I'll put it this way. You thought I had stress on me when I was driving to work and driving in the right-hand lane at 90 miles an hour and trying not to have an accident? Times 2.
Really?
Every person in that prison you are a target.
The COs don't protect you?
The COs don't protect anybody in a prison. You protect yourself in different ways. What? You check into the hole because you're uncomfortable, scared, or nervous. You set boundaries. Because an inmate doesn't want to get approached by a CO for any reason. Mm-hmm. But the CO's not there to protect you. He's there to keep order and discipline as best he can. If you get in a beef with somebody, he's not coming into the middle of it. He's going to wait till you finish your beef. Whoever's on the floor is going to pick up the pieces. Wow. And that's basically how it's going to go. Now, if they get 3 or 4, because you only have one CO on the fucking floor, 200 men. Yeah. What, are you going to get in the middle of it?
Yeah.
No. He might say, hey, guys, knock it off. But he ain't getting in the middle of it. Mm-hmm. So bottom line is, the answer to the question is, did you ever have a really tough going there? The answer is every day was tough mentally. Physically, I had to step to a few people, but never did we go to blows.
That's good.
Like men, it was settled. There were times where I avoided situations. It's like, listen, it's dark out. It's fucking 42nd Street. It's 1977. You don't go in the dark alley on 42nd Street, right?
It's common sense.
Just the way to do it, right?
Yeah.
So there were certain things that I would know to avoid these situations because if anything's going to go wrong, this is where it can happen. Now, it might not, it's nondescript right now, but it just might be a feeling you get, intuition. Hey, maybe I should just avoid this group right now.
Were there people that wanted to take you out because you were a cop?
So everybody in some way wants to have some type of knowledge, interaction, or ability to use you. As a cop, you're the number one target in the prison. You or some fucking pedophiles, But the pedophiles are more protected because if you hurt them, you're going to jail. Mm. In the jail. You're getting locked up and charged. Because they're there because they have to be there. What are you going to do with them?
We need them there.
They need to be there. Yeah. What are you going to do with them? But a cop in prison, now he's a bad guy. But the difference about being a cop in prison that's there before what I was there for, I got a little bit more respect, believe it or not, even though it's not a respectable thing what I did. But don't forget, federal prison has about 70% drug dealers in it. And if they know the story, they just don't like me because I was a cop. Or they're like, dude, I wish you worked for fucking me. Like that's how that works out. Then you get the guys that are just stalwart cop haters, even though they use the cops. Yeah. Usually if a guy's a cop hater, he's used the cop for something in his life along the way. Whether it was summonses, whether it was beer runs, whether it was the DWI, the guy took him home, but he banged his wife. Whatever's going on. There's always some kind of use of the police. And listen, let's be honest. We need the police. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of how they interact in our lives and where they fit or where they don't fit. So for me, being a cop in prison was a challenge every fucking day, but you learn to wear everything. So I learned to use that as my bridge in some cases, because you got guys coming in here crying and they get this and that, and when they see me, they see the cop. So the cop's been known always as a guy that can give you some wise advice. So a lot of people came to me for advice. My legal skills, they were better than the average guy, right? Because I know legal terminology. I knew my way through legal books. I was intelligent enough to complete a police academy, so I had to have some abilities to work my way through legal arguments.
Right.
So I would help guys with those things. So you have use. So like a lawyer in prison, one of the most valuable guys. You know, you think, oh, there's a lawyer, he's a white collar guy, he's going to get. They got a place for him.
People take care of you.
People take care of you as long as you. Tit for tat. What's the yin yang? Tit for tat. What's the term they use now? Quid pro quo. Yeah. You give me something, I give you something. So. Yeah. So and then you got your lechers that want to have sex, want to fuck you. What a great badge that would be, right? For someone to fuck a cop.
Did you deal with guys trying you?
Guys ask.
They ask.
Oh, they go. Yeah. Whoa. I got no hair on my ass, but that's to my advantage, not yours. Guy says to me one day, "I'll fill your commissary up. I swear. Here's my list."
You're gonna fill something up. What are you talking about? You crazy?
Yeah, that's how they are. They're bold.
Wow.
They're bold.
But it's never aggressive. No one ever was like.
Generally not.
Right.
Not where you can't just say, "Hey, go jerk off. Go jerk off." Yeah.
And did you have a job?
But there are people that they will do that to because they know that they're soft touches.
Right.
And they'll just keep putting pressure on them. Mostly that usually happens about money. You need money, you need clothes, you need a watch. All of a sudden the guy says, "Okay, so I gave you a watch. There's a reason I gave you a watch.
You took it.
You got the watch. So either you give it back to me, or you're gonna be doing something. You're doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whether it's money, more money, or suck a dick. Whatever the case is. So people don't realize that they're getting themselves in those traps.
Mm. And did you have jobs while you were there?
I did.
Duties?
I did the rec yard. I worked the rec yard for a while, for about 2 years, and then I did the prison industries. Where you get paid a little bit. I did that for 2 or 3 years. So yeah, I had a different job, but so I built furniture in prison, and then I worked the rec yard, which means I basically maintained the rec yard, which is. So my main job was to put all the weights, every fucking dumbbell. Now in prison back then, Mariana prison that I was in where I had this job, every dumbbell was off the fucking rack. And there's probably 250 dumbbells ranging from 30 pounds to 140. I had every day at the end of my shift, I had to make sure every weight was back on the rack. So,
wow.
So you could get a little something like that. Never mind, I did work out as well, but that was just, if I didn't get a workout in that day, I made sure when I was carrying those weights back, I'd do a couple of shoulder shrugs and stuff.
And what was the currency in the prison?
Tuna fish stamps, cigarettes.
And did you ever dabble in the drug trade within the prison?
No.
Never.
No, I actually went there in prison and tried to become a better person and be more introspective and learn. I learned to read, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not have a appetite for reading. I'm dyslexic.
Oh, wow.
So it was really debilitating to me. I was intelligent, but I couldn't read.
Yeah.
I don't know if
so you feel dumb. You're like, what's wrong with me?
What the fuck? I can't really read. I can read, but I'm reading at the pace of a snail, and everybody else they're on page 4. I'm on page 1.
Yeah.
That's so feeling less than. Remember the early part?
Yeah, of course. You feel dumb. You're like, because there's not even a name for it, really.
Yeah, back then when I was a kid, there was no name for it. They didn't know what that was.
Yeah. Oh, you're dumb. You're slow.
Yeah,
like,
and even though, but they never told me that because I worked so hard behind the scene to not be uncovered that I couldn't read.
Right. So I'm gonna get A's and B's, and no one's even gonna look at me.
Exactly.
Yeah, you figure out a way.
Figured a way out.
Always.
Yeah.
And so in prison, you're in there with Gotti at certain points. You're in there
not the same cell, but
right.
Same
you're
building,
in the same prison, and then you're in there with other guys. I'm sure that you know from the streets.
All real gangsters. Yeah. I was with every Italian gangster in the city of New York and Jersey came through prison the same time I did.
What are their gangsters?
The Gagnon family, the Colombo family, all Persico, Mazza. Gosh, I don't know all their names. Musso. Arena. I go down the list. All of them came through in the early '90s.
Wow.
And I was in, and many of us are friends today. Believe it or not. Yeah. Most of those guys do well in the end because they had a little something going on. And guys take care of each other a little bit if they still have something going on outside. But some of them may never come home. Like a Persico and I don't know, Vicarina and his son. I mean, a lot of these guys, they did, they were mobsters. They kill people,
Right.
So.
I mean, Whitey Bulger, I guess.
Whitey, he's dead. Yeah, he didn't come through with me, but yeah.
Right. And while you're in there, you're seeing these guys. Is your spirit high while you're in prison, or are you embarrassed? Are you feeling?
Oh, no. So you don't really get the embarrassment once you're inside. You start fighting for your freedom.
Yeah.
So your mindset turns. See, it's very odd because you become a very selfish person. Like if you weren't selfish before, you become selfish now because you're trying to get out.
Yeah.
I'm fighting my case. I'm trying to get out. You need to understand. Meanwhile, people are busy with their lives. They need to go grocery shopping right now.
Yeah.
And you're like, can you do this? And they're like, I thought you were dead. Like that's what you're dead. When you go to prison, you're dead. When you call the house, you interrupt their lives. We already buried you, motherfucker. They don't say that to you, but that's what's going through their mind. We already buried you. You're coming out of the grave in 14 years.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we get to visit your coffin once in a while, right?
Yeah. So leave me alone.
Yeah. Do it. You got your sentence. The judge gave you your 14 years. Don't try to reduce it.
And how does that make you feel while you're in there? Is it frustrating?
Well, people don't say those things to you,
Well,
but you know that's going on. Yeah.
And how does it feel?
You feel lonely.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. So So here's one thing I learned that's good about prison. You learn no. You learn no. When you start walking up to a staff member, and before you start opening your mouth to talk, their head's going like this.
Offer it.
You learn no.
That's a valuable lesson.
You learn no.
And then you're learning.
So I learned how to say no.
To say no. Right. So people are asking you things. Hey, man,
No. I never, here's my credo for me. This is my credo. I never overpromise. I may promise you something, but it's only something that I can tell you. I promise and I commit to what I'm willing to say and do. I will never, if you said to me, hey, do you know anybody that has a brand new Chevy for sale? I know someone that has a Chevy. It may or may not be for sale. I'll make the call. After I make the call, I say, listen, I made the call. That's all I can do. If they don't call you back, I've done my part. I never people overpromise and underdeliver.
And then you're disappointed.
And then so everybody's going to disappoint you at some point in your life. For me, I'd rather not disappoint anybody, so I never, like when we discuss coming here, how are we going to work it out? How are we going to make the commitment?
Yep.
And will I be on time? Normally, I'm never late.
Traffic.
No. I'm never late. I was not happy with today's performance. In the book of deeds, in God's book of deeds, Dowd, you were late today. Well, there's other reasons for the lateness. There's other people that are involved. So I overpromised and I underdelivered today. But I promise later on I'll deliver.
You're delivering right now, baby. You're delivering right now.
I'm delivering.
And how long were you in solitary?
I was in solitary 9 months.
And how do you stay sharp in solitary? How do you not lose your mind?
You learn to read.
And what are you reading?
Anything and everything. But I turned out I loved history. And sometimes you like to read a little Anne Rice book to, get you a little fucking Anne Rice, you get a little something, mentally you get stimulated.
Anne Rice.
Yeah, she's the one that writes books about vampires and sex and all kinds of weird shit. Yeah,
that's so funny.
That vampire look.
But it's just something sexual. It's just trying to get
hot.
you going.
You talk about this and that. You're like, bang, you can shoot a load just reading, bro.
Yeah,
not even touching. Not even touching.
And you can jerk off in your cell. They don't care.
No, you don't want to show everybody, but yeah. You
turn away.
Yeah, put the toilet paper up.
Wow. And so you do 9 months there. And why are you in solitary?
So in solitary for 9 months, and I end up...
I'm just going to keep that towards you. Keep going.
And I end up telling them I'm going to hang myself.
And
if you don't let me out. Put me in general population. I can't take it anymore. I said, I'll be hanging on that plug tonight at midnight. If you don't, there's the fire, they have these fire plugs, the sprinklers. I said, I'll be hanging on that fucking fire plug if you don't have me out of here by tonight. At midnight, you'd be counting me from the fire plug. They took me out like 2 hours later, they put me on 7 South. And then I was on 7 South for a year and a half.
Wow. Did you mean it?
No. Fucking kill myself. I love myself. I'm a narcissist.
I'm an egomaniac.
I'm a narcissist. That's what they tell me. I love myself. I'm not a bad guy.
Yeah.
Fucking fun. I live a life.
But why were you in there in the first place?
Protection.
Because you're a cop.
Yes, protection. Yeah.
But then you go out in general and you're fine.
Yeah, I mean, there's little rough edges, a couple of rough edges, but you make it through.
But you know how to play.
Listen, it's not going to be a one-way. It's not going to be a one-way fuck up, okay?
Yeah.
If you want to come to me, the bigger guy or what, it doesn't matter. It's probably the little guy is going to hurt you the most any fucking way. So I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Bring it.
And did you ever have to affiliate, get with a car, like link up with guys? Okay, here are the guys from my town.
No, well, prison's very racially divided. Black, white, Spanish. They're all doing their own things. But there's a cross mix of all that stuff too. I mean, guys get along.
Yeah.
Guys get along because they have to. Because otherwise they're in the box.
Yeah.
And no one wants to be in the box.
Don't want to be in the box.
Okay. So that's prison life. And that's how I was just, after a while, I become one of the guys in a way, but never really invited in. Like I was Dowd. And it's just, I become part of the furniture too. But not the furniture they want in their cell.
Right.
So.
And then as you're getting to the end of your sentence,
Right.
Are you enjoying the time? Do you learn to enjoy any of it?
Yes, you do. You hate every day, but you enjoy each moment. So when you're focused here on task at hand, you enjoy it. The biggest deprivation in prison is female contact.
Sure.
So I mean that's horrific. That's really the punishment. To be honest with you, I'd stay in prison my whole life if I can get laid now and then by a woman. All right, and not me being the one being the bitch. All right, I'm not into that. But I mean, if I have to do another bid, we can negotiate. Everything's up. The price is up for sale because I can't take it. But point is that. That's what you miss.
That's the thing.
You miss that whole. I mean, I would wake up kissing the fucking cinder blocks, thinking I'm with a woman.
Yeah. And your wife, at that point, you guys are divorced.
Yeah, we separated our ways, but
Right.
it was the best thing to do for me and for her. You know.
Did you have girls writing you in? People that heard and you write them back?
I had dozens. Yeah.
And you're writing them back.
I had an engagement. I had everything.
An engagement.
Yeah, I had a lot of things going. Yeah.
Wow.
That's for the book, bro.
Any visits?
For the movie.
Conjugal visits, is that a thing?
No, you don't get them. Not in the feds.
No.
The states had them. I don't know if they've done away. I don't really can't track what they do anymore, but they did have them at that time, but not the feds.
Any prison brawls?
We had a riot come out in 1996. The whole federal system, 40% of the federal system was on fire.
And you were there?
And I was there. Yeah.
And what happens?
They locked the prison down.
And you're sitting there in your cell?
And you're sitting there in your cell. And thankfully, they were contained areas. Like they burned the gym down here. Or they burnt a Unicorp, which is the prison industries building in different locations. Or they burnt the chow hall down and something. So throughout the prison, in 1996, the crack law was supposed to be repealed. And it didn't. And they went off.
Wow.
And so I ended up in a 16-day solitary lockdown in my cell. And they fed us bologna and eggs. So you ate bologna and eggs for 16 days, and you showered for 3-minute shower 2 or 3 times a week. And so it was like we were getting punished for something we didn't do. Because the guys that did the rioting, they were busted, shipped out, and put in new prisons the next day.
Wow. So all the people that were locked down had nothing to do with it?
Had nothing to do with it. And they kept us locked down for 2 weeks, some places 2 months.
Wow.
In our place, so it's real antidote. We can. I'm standing in my cell now. Now you got to realize, even though I was not treated any differently, in fact, just as equally or worse in some cases, there was a sense of respect for me from the corrections staff. When I say staff, not the people that work behind them, but the guys, the COs. They were always kind to me. Not that they would do anything extra, but they would. Hey, Dowd, how you doing? Something they might not say to the other guys,
Sure.
There's a cop in their prison now. So one day I took my shirt off. Now, I was in good shape, bro. I was jacked.
You're in good shape now.
Yeah, no. Anyway, so I took my shirt off to show to God. I said, I've lost 16 pounds. I said, you see my fucking ribs, bro? And he looks at me. He puts his head down like this, and he turns around. 2 days later, they let us out.
Wow. They knew it was cruel.
The guards, it was killing the guards because they like us. They live with us.
Yeah, you become friends.
We're friendly. We're not. If I saw them in the street, we'd go out for a beer or buy them a burger or something together. That's how you get. You're there 4, 5, 6 years. So it was the guards were complaining.
Wow.
Look what we're doing to these guys. You're giving them eggs and bologna every day for 16 days.
Wow.
And I had no commissary. The commissary was the next day for me, and I was out of commissary. So some guys had commissary in their cell. I had none.
I'm glad you're out. You made it.
It was a while ago now. It's almost 20 years now I'm out. 2004, so 19 years.
And I'm curious, the day you get out, or the week, the year you get out, do you ever miss the structure of prison? Do you miss any of the guys? Do you miss any of the camaraderie?
I've never been asked that question. Do I miss prison? Yes. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. But yes.
And what do you miss?
The structure. Because my life's still crazy. But I mean, I have a good life. And it's not a rich life, and you know that. But it's a good life. But that structure can be very comforting in a way. Which is why when young kids, they need structure. I'm not a young kid, but I still need structure. I miss that.
You
I miss
wake
the
up,
structure.
you know what you're doing that day.
Correct.
If someone's telling you where to go, you do it.
You know what the plan is, and you learn to live a structured life with a production for what it is. So I do miss that. It's weird, but yeah. So I miss you guys, but I'm not looking to join you. But I do miss the structure of prison.
Yeah. Well, Mike, this has been fabulous. I really appreciate all the stories. Thank you again for regaling us. This is truly a fascinating life, and I'm excited. I know you got other things cooking, movies, books, everything else under the sun that you can do. Let's go enjoy some of that freedom.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Thank you again, brother. Appreciate you, man.